across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yep, it's Ash on Talk again, and what a show, what a smorgasbord we've got on today. We're going to be talking in a minute to the great guy. I'm very jealous when I see him on other shows, Will Guyatt, tech journalist. We're going to talk about Grand Theft Auto 6. It's the biggest thing ever, because now the games, the video games industry is bigger than Hollywood, and that's the biggest game. And it's Scottish. It's from Dundee, isn't it, where the Beano comes from. That's Rockstar Games. I think they've been bought out. I don't know, we'll find out about that. Later on, we've got Pat Moynihan, a mate of mine, comedian from the Edinburgh Festival. See what that's all about and what's going on there. Later on, we've got Melissa Melly Myers, author of an online content creator. She's the author of thriller Disaster in Paradise. And, well, we're going to find out all about that. It's fiction, but explores the very real issues of coercive control and specifically on holiday. And then at 11, we got the newspaper review. Pete Barnes is in, political strategist, and he's brilliant, as we all know. So that'll be good. And then later on, we're talking about Meghan. Yeah, she's apparently going to be coming over and starring in a movie produced by Shane Ritchie. So stay tuned. Yeah, Shane Ritchie, fantastic guy, never heard of him. Shane Ritchie, yeah, he got a new movie and Meghan's going to star in it. So anyway, enough of all that. Let's talk about this GTA 6, because there's been loads of leaks, apparently, and they're furious, although it's great publicity, isn't it? But they've... Anyway, Will, are you there? Will Guyatt. Come in, Will.
Come in. Good evening, Ash.
I will.
So... This is the most anticipated game ever, right? They sold about 250 million copies of the most recent one, Grand Theft Auto 5, and that came out in 2013. So it's been out for 13 years. And there was due to be a big reveal next week. It was going to be the first game ever revealed through a Netflix event. So they were going to have an extended show on Netflix which would reveal the game and tell you more about it, because the game is out in November. But we've seen this situation over the last couple of days where somebody has got a development version of the game and are leaking footage to all sorts of places online. And essentially, whilst people are excited and some people are saying, "Oh, this is great PR, etc." The developers who are in the UK, they're in Edinburgh, actually, the developers that have been developing this.
It's a Scottish company, isn't it? It's incredible.
Yeah, Rockstar. So it's been developed at Rockstar North. They've been spending years for this, building it for fans around the world.
Billions,
yeah.
Isn't it?
And it's kind of not ruined it, but it means that it's not in the control of the company. So this person that's got this this pre-release version, they're now sort of leaking bits and pieces to the internet. It's hard to tell what's real and what's not, because don't forget, it's really easy to generate stuff in AI now. So people might be thinking there's stuff that they're seeing that isn't actually in the game. And this is actually one of the biggest exports from the UK now.
Well, it's like the Beatles, isn't it? I mean, video games is the big thing in media, and it's British, isn't it? And it's storming. It's the biggest game in the world, and including America.
Yeah, and millions of people are predicted to tune in next week for this Netflix event. And it's something that people around the world have literally been waiting years to see and play. And now some people will say, "Oh, look at it, this person's got it," and they're revealing all of this stuff. But the company definitely had a plan. People are still working on the game. It's not finished yet.
So they didn't want this leak. They're subpoenaing people left, right and centre, apparently.
Well, yeah, and I think that's right, because the challenge with this, Ash, is stuff is coming from this. We don't know how old this version of the game they're showing is, because don't forget, games get made over years and years and years. And there was alleged to be a leak from about 2022 previously. One of the suggestions is that one of the songs that's featured in one of these leaks that come out over the last couple of days is a fairly recent song. So it would suggest it is a recent, newer version of the leak. But as I said, I'm going to put a caveat on all of this, that some of this could be now AI generated. It's hard to tell what's real and what's not, but fans kind of seem to be lapping up what's there. And why wouldn't you? Because
it's not going to affect the sales, is it? I mean, everyone's going to want this game. The only thing is, would they ever be able to leak an actual could you ever pirate a game? That would be the massive worry, because that would be their billions or millions, multi-millions investment down the pan a lot. Could it ever be cracked and pirated in any way?
increasingly hard to do something like that these days. And I imagine if somebody attempted to leak an early version of this game now, they would be spending a very long time in prison, because billions of dollars have been spent on developing it. But I actually feel for the people that have been creating this, right? I'm not going to get too mournful, but they've been spending, they're all working really hard at the moment. They're at crunch now, trying to get this game finished. And to have somebody just take all of the plans that you've orchestrated for all this time of what you were showing people and saying, no, I'm going to play you this bit instead, it won't affect the sales of the game, but it does sort of spoil or change some of that excitement for the people who might want to be experiencing it.
But it's sort of it's also it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? But for people who don't know what Grand Theft Auto is, I remember the first one, and that was like from above, and you walked around, you can rob cars, and it gives you things to do, but often you just drive around and you can go in planes, and basically it gets more detailed, and it's like you're in a real sort of world. And it's actually incredible, and there were rumours, does it make kids actually violent? And it's possible, because you get so into it. But will it ever be like what do they call it, virtual reality? Would they ever use that? Or?
There was some discussion on a previous version that they were going to do a VR version for Meta's headsets, but that never came through. But back to the violence point, 20 years ago, I remember having a tremendous row with your old mucker, James Whale, about whether or not video games were violence simulators. I would say no, because a Grand Theft Auto game is like the best Scorsese movie or the best crime movie. And the fact
but it's real when you're in it. And then if you go out, I remember I was driving that game. Do you remember it had the real streets of London in it? It was an amazing game. It wasn't that it was like a Grand Theft Auto, but it had the shops, it had Pret a Manger and everything. It was called, I can't remember. But after,
is that the Getaway you were playing?
Getaway,
Getaway, yeah.
And I was driving after it, and I nearly crashed because you get in, it does affect your mind. You do get into it, and these are so realistic now. You don't think there's any link?
No, it's been proven that...
You've never gone out and, blown up a Pontiac or anything like that?
I have never gone and held up a petrol station as a result of playing a game. But I think, like I said, millions of people want to still play this. 5 million copies of a game that was 13 years old have been sold in the last couple of months. So people are still buying Grand Theft Auto 5, because like I said, it's like any Scorsese movie. It's like the very best crime drama, and the narrative and the story, and
it's better because you're in it. You're doing it.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with you. But this will be, even though now not many people go and buy them in shops, and this is digitally owned.
It's not going to be a hard copy, is it? It's a digital copy now. You don't actually get it.
So you can go and pre-order a digital code from one of the retailers that's still left in the UK, but most people will be buying it online. So we're not going to see those massive queues down Oxford Street that we used to see for video games or Harry Potter or
and
blah,
there won't
blah,
be
blah.
a limit as well. They won't run out of stock. It's just a program.
No, but who knows what will happen? They're already saying people are going to be taking the day off work for Grand Theft Auto Flu. There's a suggestion in the US that the military are actually going to let people take extra days off to go and play this game, because it's such a global phenomenon. So over the next few days, I reckon the company will try really hard to get these leaks shut down, because they want people to tune into their event on Netflix next Thursday, and for people just to kind of get what they're giving them. Some people are saying, well, tough, the company shouldn't be able, we want to see it, we want to play it. But for a company that spent billions on it and had people developing it for 13 years, you kind of should give them the privilege of being able to show you what they want to show you when they want to show it.
They're advanced copies, and were they watermarked, which is where you can tell which copy's gone to which? Is that what's happened? Has there been preview copies or to
it's hard to say. Nothing. So there's been nothing official from Rockstar right now, and I completely they're the developer, and I completely understand that, because they're trying to probably, I would imagine, work out what on earth is going on. But there are some suggestions that it's a PlayStation 5 version that somebody's got, and we're suggesting there's been some subpoenas, and they're trying to find out who's got what and where they've got it from, because it's clear at the moment they don't know who it is, because they haven't been able to shut it down. But I just hope it doesn't ruin what is ultimately going to be the largest entertainment launch ever.
Well, this will actually be the biggest media thing ever, apparently, won't it? I mean, it's bigger than movies, and this is the biggest game of the biggest media industry, really, in video games, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And yeah, I hope, like I said, people tune in for it next week and don't find their experience kind of ruined by what somebody is showing, and
I don't
some of
think
the
it
stuff
would
they're
ruin
showing
it. Why would it affect? You know, you
well,
just be just as excited when you got it. I mean, could it
you
be?
might be making
Yeah, go
you
on.
might be making unfair assessments though, Ash, because this is not the version that they've got is not the version that you're going to find available to download or buy in several months' time. And because there's no official comment on this, you've got no idea of knowing whether this is a year-old version, or this is current or really old.
So in a
And
way, the leaks don't matter because they don't know if it's the real one. It's sort of adding to it in a way, isn't it? It's adding the mystery. It's like when they released the iPhone thing. They say it's going to be foldable, and they do mock-up pictures, and it sort of adds to it in a way. And people are more.
and then it
interested.
ends up nothing like,
Yeah.
that, because we still don't have a foldable iPhone
No,
after all these years
after
they've promised
years.
us.
Yeah, man. Could it have been a state? You know, the North Koreans, they have their own individual state fraud department that tries to nick money from all over the world, or the Russians. Could they be the people that have got into this? And could they actually? You say they couldn't crack it, but why wouldn't there? Some expert, or with these quantum stuff and AI, is there no way that in maybe a few months they'll be able to crack it and then it will just be free? It's always happened to everything else, pretty much, hasn't it?
Good luck to anybody cracking and trying to sell pirated games on a wholesale basis in 2026. And could it be Russia? Could it be North Korea? It could be Martians. I genuinely really don't know who've got their hands on it at the moment, and I think it would be wrong to speculate. But whoever it is a criminal, because this thing isn't out yet. They shouldn't have their hands on it, and they definitely shouldn't be releasing bits of it to the internet.
Now I can see you. I know you've got your own sort of arcade of all like vintage games. It's like a dream. It's like heaven.
Fire Risk.
But I mean, have you ever? Yeah, Fire Risk. Yeah, cool. But have you? When I got to about, I think when COVID was around, I thought, well, we've got to stay, and I'm going to get a PS4, and I bought Grand Theft, and I just wasn't. I couldn't get past the first screen bit, and I just gave up, and I played FIFA football a bit. But when you get to 50 odd, you sort of. I don't know. You just don't want it. It's not as good as it is. You lose that magical thing in your head, don't you? I mean, I don't know if you're that age yet, but
I'm not that age. But I don't think that you. I don't know if I'm that much younger. I don't think if you do, right, I think these days video gamers are of all ages, and you'll be staggered to know the number of retired people who routinely game, and people in their 70s and 80s who are now gaming. And it's a genuine like leisure pursuit. And like I said, I remember all those times rowing with James Whale, where he was just saying this is just nerds in their bedroom. It's moved way beyond that now. It's the biggest entertainment medium in the world, bigger than and the fact that, like, for example, they've got millions of people still playing Grand Theft Auto 5 per month. You and I would both love millions of people to be watching our YouTube videos or listening to the station. It's become an absolute phenomenon.
And is it going to be? I know one was based in sort of Miami and one was New York. And so where's this sort of based? This one.
This one, off the top of my head, I'm going to fail and tell you exactly what state it's based in. No, I don't want to make it up. Right. But it's clearly got all the elements that you would expect: cars, heists, explosions.
You can drive a train, you can get a plane, and you can do a helicopter. But what is this Vice City? That was an old one, wasn't it, Vice? But what is, we could drive a train and we could fly a plane. What is this new one? Have you got any hints of what the new one extra is going to really be able to go into space, or what's the new one going to have that the old one
I don't think you'll be able to get into space. I know that they're talking about sports, so you can play basketball in it. Apparently, bizarrely, you're going to have fuel gauges on the cars for the first time, and it's set in a fictional version of Florida. It takes place in a place called Leonida, a fictionalized version of Florida. Wow. The main city being like a modernized version of Vice City, which was always the stand-in
like Miami,
for Miami. Sort of thing, yeah, last seen in Vice City in 2002. So people are going to get there and be really excited about it. A lot of Everglades-style swampland, cities, low rider cars,
Miami
all
Vice.
of that cool. Yeah, all of that.
Is it set in the 80s or is it current modern day?
No, contemporary.
I heard there might be Bugattis in it and things like that.
Yeah, this is the thing, right? There's always rumor and speculation about a Grand Theft Auto game before it gets revealed. But yeah, and also if anybody does want to see exactly what's going on with it, Rockstar do have this event with Netflix on Thursday next week to reveal more about the game. They're calling it an extended look at Grand Theft Auto 6. So I think some of the stuff that this dude may have already leaked, this person, this organization, whoever it is, may have already leaked, might be in that. But it'll be a really good chance to see what Rockstar are revealing and what they're prepared to show about the game, and that's next Thursday.
And isn't it amazing, you know, we still make the best stuff in media. You know, this is a Dundee, isn't it, where the Beano comes from, and the Dandy, that was originally Rockstar. Is it still there, or has it been bought by a big American conglomerate?
So Rockstar is now owned by Take-Two Interactive. They're an American publisher.
Yeah, as usual, we don't get the money anymore to the exchequer. Well, we make something great, and then the Americans buy it.
Rockstar North is still a studio in Edinburgh, and they've got other studios Dundee, in the UK.
Didn't it, originally,
that was DMA Designs. Yes, you're quite right. That's where they first made the first Grand Theft Auto, and they made Lemmings and other games there, classic games from the 80s and 90s. Yeah, and then it's become an absolute powerhouse for the Grand Theft Auto games. Bizarrely, it was in the news and it made all the headlines in February. People were worried that the game might get delayed because they had a boiler explosion in the building at their studio in Edinburgh. Nobody was hurt, but everybody was worried because the boiler had gone bang. The Grand Theft Auto 6 might get delayed even further because the game's been expected a couple of times and it's been moved back because the company have been really focused on trying to make the best possible game and experience they can, because they know fans will buy it whatever it's like. But Rockstar have never released a turd in terms of Grand Theft Auto games. They've never done a bad one.
How many man hours to make it? I mean, it takes thousands of people and actors and
hundreds of thousands.
And they see all the cars. They have to get deals with all the car manufacturers to put them in.
They don't use the official cars. They look familiar, and they often have familiar sounding names, but they don't use the official names. But you have radio stations with real music and often real DJs. You can change
the radio in the car. That was always from game one. You could do that. It was really. Yeah. That was one of the...
Loads of the things that are normal now came from these games. So what will be exciting will be to see what little bits that they've introduced in 2026, which then you'll see for games probably for the next 10, 15 years.
But, I mean, I remember when, you know, games... I mean, you're not maybe old enough, but I remember when the Spectrum, and before that, the VIC-20, we had a VIC-20, and before that, there was, like, the BBC, and we've always had software games people, like they were like kids back then, they were 18, and now they're, like, millionaires and EA Sports and this and that. What is it about Britain that we're so good at computers, not just games, in everything? What is it about us? Why are we so into it?
It was that home... Yeah, it was that home computer revolution in the 80s.
Yeah.
The cheap Spectrums that your dad might have gone and bought thinking that you were going to become a computer programming genius and you just played games, etc. The BBC, all of those things made the UK a real hothouse for people who wanted to create games, develop and ideas, and that's where it all started, and that's why it's still one of our biggest exports now, actually, video games. And given that we're a country that gets criticized for loads of things not making stuff anymore, one thing we do brilliantly is make video games. Randomly, a couple of weeks ago, I was in Warwickshire, and the world's two biggest racing game series are made in Warwickshire.
What are they? Pole position. Do you remember that? Pole position.
I've got a pole position. I've got a pole position and an outrun just over the other side of my studio here.
You keep going round and round. I could finish that. Yeah, you just hold your wheels fully to the...
We just make, Ash, we make loads of really good games in the UK, and that's why I'm a little bit sad that somebody has got this game and has started revealing stuff, because these people have been working really, really hard to get this game done and get it finished on time. So I know that, you know, I wouldn't want something to be spoiled for millions of people who've been waiting years to play this.
Yeah, but I still think everyone's going to be just as excited, and I don't think they need to worry about stuff. What's this? Cinema global leader in one-stop provider for fully integrated, innovative, multi-device in-car infotainment solution today announced a collaboration with Dolby Laboratories and Smash Labs to bring immersive music-led gaming into the vehicle cabin, creating highly engaging experience across a broad range of in-car moments, whether on the move part. Is that for the Grand Theft Auto? Incredible.
What on earth?
These are some of the leaks. This is AI going. Are you up with AI? Because I'd like to talk to you about that after the break.
You can ask me whatever you like, mate.
Well, yeah, because we're all a bit worried about AI and also how it works in the gaming industry. So we've got Will Guyatt, tech expert. Whale's not here to shout at you. I can feel him now getting angry.
I can feel him here too, yeah.
So we'll be back with Will on Talk. 03444 499 1000 if you want to give us a bell about anything. And we'll be back with Will to talk about AI and a bit more about this after this.
across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk, 03444991000. If you want to ring, we'll give you a ring back. Want to speak about anything, Megan, and all the other stuff going on. But at the moment, we're speaking to Will Guy. We were talking about Grand Theft Auto 6. This is a massive game, obviously the biggest game, I think, in history, made originally in Dundee and Edinburgh by Rockstar Games. But now I want to talk about AI, Will, and, well, first of all, is it a bubble? Is it all going to come crashing down? Because it's costing trillion. Oh, sorry, it's costing technology. It's costing trillions of pounds, and they're only making billions of dollars. So is it going to collapse? It's all sort of seems to be a Ponzi scheme of them funding each other and keeping the balance sheet right. But will it all come tumbling down, and then? Is it going to affect, you know, it's such a big part of the American stock market and NASDAQ and everything, the big 7 tech companies. Is it going to cause a major worldwide problem on top of that?
Judged on that assessment, Ash, I'm going to get you on the tech report, which is the for your company. I do a series of YouTube videos on this because your assessment of that was actually pretty damn straight. And on the tech report today, we spoke to a Brit in the US called Ed Zitron, and you'll find the video on YouTube. Yeah. And he is convinced that the bubble now is, you know, close to bursting, because these companies, like you said there, they're basically they're buying stuff off of each other. It's like a circular economy.
Nvidia investing in there, and they're investing in, and they're all buying. And these chips might go out of date, and the Chinese might come up with something that costs 20 pence, and so they're building all these data centers and.
Yeah, and the data centers cost so much to build and make that many of these really big ones that they're promising to build just are not going to happen. Like if you look at the numbers, and Ed, who I was talking to today, was saying that they need something like a 15 times increase in revenue by 2030 in order to break even. And it's just not possible. None of these companies have made an absolute bean yet, and they're spending billions and billions of dollars in order to try and get to a stage where they can be effective. They use tons of energy. They use what's called compute, so they have to keep. Yeah, and they keep having to, you know, buy what they call compute. And there was a period a couple of months ago where Anthropic, who make Claude, there's OpenAI with ChatGPT, and there's Anthropic with Claude. It looked like their revenue, their money was increasing, and everybody went, "Oh, look, there might be some progress here." But it turned out Elon Musk had offered them a 2-month discount on their compute service, so that was the only way they were seemingly able to make money. So I think. I don't think AI is disappearing, like we'll have it, but I don't quite know how we're going to get to a stage where it becomes the businesses that run it become profitable, and what happens when a big one collapses. The video we did today was what would happen if OpenAI died, and Ed, who's got an absolute brain on all of this stuff, started looking into how it would potentially collapse and what the impact of that would be. And we pondered on the question, like, would the US try and nationalize one of these companies?
Well, it is a national security issue, because China, you've got to get it before the Chinese or the Russians, so it would become a national security issue, and so no one can stop, because then the others will gain the advantage, and then that could be advantage forever.
It's the ultimate space race, right? Everybody is piling into this. And what you talked about earlier was interesting, and you were bang on in that everybody's now panicking about China. If you look at the Western models, the models that the US and the UK and others are building, they're all built around these high-powered GPUs, these computer chips. And it's like they're running on a Ferrari. So really expensive to run, cost millions. The Chinese model, essentially tuned for a lawnmower, works effectively, not as powerful, much cheaper to run, doesn't break down all the time. So you find yourself in a situation where, do you settle for ultimate high power, which costs so much money, which is the Western version, or do you go for what the Chinese version's doing, slightly cheaper and also open? That's the thing which is really intriguing about China at the moment.
China to be open,
you'd think China would be like super protective on this stuff, but they're saying anybody can use their AI models, where you're not getting that from most of the big frontier companies in the West. And there's also a lot of chat. A lot of what we're hearing at the moment, I nearly swore, I'm not going to, is a lot of marketing and PR hype. It's like, look how powerful my thing is, because they want companies to invest. They want to be worth. OpenAI, the boss Sam Altman, they said to him, you can go and float on the US stock exchange and you'll be valued at around about $1 trillion. He said, no, I want 2 trillion, based on absolutely nothing, Ash.
Well,
There's
Apple's
no reason why that
3 trillion in the bank, or it's worth 3 trillion, isn't it?
Yeah, but Apple has 40 years of product history, has developed some really good stuff.
And a proper genius as well that was there, which that bloke at OpenAI isn't.
No, and he's also, like, if you read everything you read about Sam Altman, even his own staff say he's a bit diabolical.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the type of boss that you want to work for.
Not a Del Boy tech boss.
Yeah, a bit. I've never met him, but that's what you read in some of the exposés and some of the kind of coverage, that he's not liked as a human being. And, you know...
No, mind you, neither was Steve Jobs.
No, but we're in a strange time.
Genius, wasn't he?
We are in a strange time, though. Everybody's talking about AI. Everybody's concerned about it taking their jobs. But whether or not these companies make money or not, but they may have destroyed everything before they've even made a cent.
The thing is, it doesn't make sense, Will, because if it means that it takes everyone's jobs, there's not going to be any money. People aren't going to have money to... Why are there going to be companies if we get a universal income and we haven't got money because we haven't got... It doesn't really compute, does it, talking about computing?
No, it doesn't all add up.
So is it like something... Because I heard something recently that it's something to do with, you know, the Bilderberg Group and the high up, and really they just want to... It's these, you know, the 10 or 50 top people are just basically going to take over, and it's not viable because they know it's not viable. They just want to take over the world, you know, like a James Bond.
Do you believe in all that guff?
No, because I don't see why people would. I mean, you don't know, because people who are billionaires still want to do business, don't they? And you think, why don't you retire? So it's the power they like. They do get into the power. So I don't know how these people think. I mean, do you know what I mean? But the other thing with China, apparently they've got it's all developed their electricity grid by engineers, whereas here it's more business, and they've got a different wattage system that means that their data centers is going to be much easier to set up, and we're really, you know, on the back foot with China. And you look at their robots as well, and you see Elon Musk with his own robots going, wow, you think I'm good? Look at the Chinese, and they're like beating people up or doing these amazing dances.
Or did you see, there's a really good video from yesterday from the Robot Olympics in China. One's doing the 100 meters. It goes slightly awry, runs straight into a wall, walks backwards like it's had 7 pints, and then it splits into and explodes.
Yeah, and I saw one beat up a kid, kick him in the stomach.
What?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what's real, though, and I saw one the other day, and it's just started doing kung fu, and they move really smoothly, these Chinese ones. You see the Elon Musk ones, and they go, hi, how are you? Would you like a cup of... But the Chinese ones are doing proper synchronised dances, and why are they so ahead? They take our technology, and then they really go forward with it somehow.
No, they've trained it to dance. It probably does the river dance spectacularly, but it won't do any of the tasks or jobs that other robots are trained to do. That's the challenge. These ones that are kind of doing parkour and drunken boxing or whatever it is, they're trained specifically to do that. They can't do the other tasks that the other ones that don't look quite so smooth are doing.
Right, so, but I mean, the thing is with China as well, because they've had these factories and stuff, the next big industry, well, it already is, you know, is obviously tech. And we haven't got people that can solder and do all this micro thing. They've got millions of people all over in the Far East. We can't compete. We haven't got the people that can do it.
We sold and closed all the factories, Ash. It's the reality of how this happened. We sold companies outside of the UK. It wasn't profitable to build and make TVs and other stuff here. We've got a couple of factories that make a few semiconductors, and the Conservative government, I don't know about the Labour government, I haven't kept up to date with it, we're trying to sell the company to the Chinese. So you find yourself in a situation where things have changed.
Well, we can't afford the energy. 5 times, no company would come here paying 5 times the energy of what you're paying elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? You're right.
So it's not looking good, is it? But who do you think's going to win the AI? And is it overrated? Is it all, you know, is it not going to be the thing that takes over and can do everyone's job? I mean, we're already seeing with lawyers and that, you can put it in AI and go, what can I do in this position? And they go, you can do this and I'll write you a letter. So really low-level lawyers, it can do the job of that. But will it actually... take everyone's job? And also the other thing, you know, Elon Musk says a 25% of chance of human extinction. Some are saying 100%, but Well, what's your view on that? Because, you know, we're messing with fire, aren't we?
I'm going to try and decode the 98 questions you asked me in that
Sorry, mate.
sentence.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to start with the last one.
Yeah. And work back.
All tech. I don't know if I'll remember them all. It's that time of the day. It's been a long day. Elon Musk and all the tech bros who run these companies have all got skin in the game. So they're all going to tell you, for example, it's the end of the world if you don't follow my version, or if you don't do this, or we don't have this level of control. Elon Musk's got massive beef against OpenAI. It's like Pat and Peggy in EastEnders, because they hate each other. And there's other kinds of stuff in that particular world. But as to where this goes, where this ends up, I don't think it's going to disappear. I don't know if it's going to take all of our jobs yet. It will be good at certain things and rubbish at other things. And we're kind of forgetting a lot of the really cool stuff that AI can do. My missus has just recovered from breast cancer, and the kind of rare breast cancer that she had, the detection just 2 years later, thanks to artificial intelligence, is way better than it's ever been. And that's because of artificial intelligence models, right?
Because it can look at a scan. We would look at a doctor, maybe that's, and it will go, that's that. That's a tiny, and microscopic level.
It's got all the experience and knowledge of doctors or the people who've been reading scans. You can give them every result, and it kind of can take that person's understanding and make them more effective. You can see you could start scanning hundreds of more scans a day and making quicker and more accurate assessments. So there's loads of good reasons to like this stuff. But then there's also the other things, like it is taking people's jobs. And there are radio stations, Ash, who in the US have replaced presenters with AI. And the only way the locals discovered that they had been replaced was it couldn't pronounce local names. Imagine if this, like, overnight they decided to put something on Talk. It probably wouldn't be able to pronounce Loughborough very well, or it would be saying names of places, and it would it would give it away. But that sort of stuff's all over the place now. Everybody is trying to use AI for different stuff.
Well, yeah, Paul Ross he's been AI for the last 3 years. He's pretty good, though. He's very, very knowledgeable. Anyway, Will, we've got to take a little break here. Anything else you want to say about this big GTA 6 launch? Because we're going to play the trailer after this. Anything you want to say before we send you into the night, or to go on your pole position?
Don't believe everything you see yet, because there's every chance that there'll be some AI fakery involved in some of the stuff that's shared on platforms over the next few days. And there's an opportunity to see the stuff that Rockstar want you to see in their reveal I think it's next Thursday on Netflix.
Thanks. Well, that's brilliant. That's Will Guy. And what's the thing called, the YouTube? It's the Talk production.
It's the Tech Guys. It's called the Tech Report. It's a News UK thing. So at the Tech Report on YouTube, and there's loads of really you'd enjoy it if you like the idea of the AI bubble stuff. Loads of great videos there from myself and a guy called Isaac.
Thanks, Will. Well, I'll have a look at that, at you and Isaac. That's his Will Guy, the tech journalist. I love that. Look at all that. Look at Arcade behind him. It's a dream come true. But let's have a little... We're going to go to a break, but before we go into a break, let's have a look at the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer. Press play on the video.
What you doing up there?
I'm just fixing some leaks.
Seriously, dude, you got some time on your hands. I got some properties with paying tenants.
Oh, that's why you came by?
Just go get me my checks.
See you, Brian. Love you, Jason. I'm here for Lucia Caminos. She's supposed to be getting out.
What's your name?
Jason Duval.
I think you heard before.
He might have.
across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Right, we are back in the room. That was fascinating. But now we're going to talk to Melissa Melly Myers. And she is the author of a new psychological thriller, Disaster in Paradise. The novel is fiction, but explores a very real issue of coercive control, emotional abuse, isolation and domestic violence experienced by women who find themselves trapped in relationships overseas. Hi, Melissa.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right, man. Now, so is this based on an experience that you've had or just...
Yes, so it is inspired by true events, but the story has been fabricated for dramatic effect.
Right, so, and it's a thriller, and it's sort of being, when you're on holiday, it's when you get the trouble with your bloke on holiday, that sort of thing. Yeah,
so it does explore the themes of domestic violence, particularly domestic violence that has taken place on holiday.
Does it change on holiday to at home then? Do blokes change when they're away?
I think it's
Is it alcohol or something?
I think it's one of those things where it's one of those things that can lie dormant, but sometimes it can be unleashed on holiday.
I've never heard that. So they're normal at home and then suddenly you're on holiday and it all changes.
Yeah, it's crazy, but you know,
interesting.
You can think you know.
Terrible.
Yeah, I mean, you can think you know someone and then you go away and you discover a completely different side to them. And I think when you go over the border, maybe it's that feeling of not feeling as so...
anchored, maybe. Like when I'm on holiday, you feel very relaxed and you feel like you're in a different world, don't you? It's quite a weird... I don't know why that happens. It doesn't happen if you go away in Britain, really, but if you go abroad, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But so you're saying this is sort of about... people who are just normal there and then they sort of start... It's a very strange phenomenon. Have you heard it with other people? Is it a common thing?
Yeah, so it's crazy because domestic violence can occur on holiday a lot. There are people that meet people abroad, maybe they relocate for a new relationship, or maybe they meet somebody and then they go away and then they discover a different side to them.
Because you're with them all the time when you're away rather than going to work and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a taste of living with that person if it's that first trip away,
So how does it start? You're just away as soon as you land. Does someone change, or in your experience?
I mean, with how the book's been laid out, so you know, if basically the protagonist is called Denise. She's a North London hairdresser. She meets the man of her dreams. And then when she goes away, she discovers this side that she didn't know existed. So it's that side that was dormant that just obviously got unleashed on holiday. And it's actually quite common. It's quite a taboo subject because we know that domestic violence exists in the UK, but we don't really talk about it happening on holiday. And there are so many challenges, newer challenges that people face on holiday, like language barriers, obviously being in a foreign country, different laws. And I've been speaking to so many women and that have been on holiday where this has happened, and it's just, it is a crazy phenomenon.
Do they come back home if they're still with their boyfriend, and does it go back to normal then when they get home? And does he apologise or say, oh, you know, how does that work?
To be honest,
are they often domestic abusers at home as well?
I think sometimes you can have red flags, but because it's a new relationship, you ignore it and you think, oh, it's nothing, you know, we're just finding our feet, we're just getting to know each other. It's the honeymoons, you know, the honeymoon period. And then when you go away, you think that's going to be the best time. But then when it turns out to be the worst time, that's really the time to walk away from the relationship. But unfortunately...
A lot don't.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. But my book in particular, I really hope it can raise awareness but also empower women to walk away from these situations rather than bringing the problem back home and just carrying on as if everything is normal.
Yeah, because, I mean, I'm sure there's women that haven't... I'd never heard of this sort of phenomenon of people going abroad and becoming all a different... But it's understandable. Have you always been an author, then, or did you do You weren't a hairdresser in North London, were you?
No, I wasn't. So this is my debut novel. It's my first novel. It's crazy because I would tell this story to so many people and they would say, this is crazy, you need to write a book about this. So it took me 2 years to write this. And now...
Let's have it. I'll hold it up to the... Let's show the dogs the rabbit. Oh, there's a picture on screen anyway. Disaster in Paradise, Melly Myers, inspired by true events. So she thought she'd find paradise, but some escapes come at deadly cost. So what did you do before you become an author then?
So before I became an author, I've always worked in business development. Did I work in hairdressers at one point? Yes, I did. Wasn't quite a hairdresser, but I did work in a hairdresser's. So I've always worked in the field of sales.
Oh, right, OK. And then what happened? So you just had friends saying, you should write about this story because what you were telling them and they were saying this is, you know, the way you're telling it.
Yeah. I think because the scale of the story is just so bizarre, people said to me, you need to share this story. And there are so many women, like so many unreported cases where people go on holiday and they come back and they're so ashamed to share with their family and friends what's happened. You know, they're scared of reporting it to the law.
Like I've fallen down the stairs when they got a black eye and stuff like that.
It's a lot of people plaster these things over because, you know, they found someone new and they want to pretend everything's okay. I mean, I was recently speaking to a lady online who went away with her partner and they were having the best relationship ever, and then all of a sudden alcohol came into the mix and he just got really jealous one night and just unleashed on her.
A monster came out.
Yeah, just a totally different side. And I said to her, did you see this coming? Was there any red flags? And she said, no, I never thought this would happen. And she got so badly beaten, she was nearly left for dead. So it's tragic, but... And it doesn't mean to say that these incidents can't happen to men neither.
No, there is domestic abuse with men, women. That's very embarrassing for a man to come and say that,
and there's so many unreported cases.
Well, probably most are unreported because it's very unmanly, isn't it, to say you're being beaten by a woman? Yeah,
and it's very hard when something like this happens to you to come forward because it's that vulnerability, it's that...
And admitting you've been foolish in your choices.
Yes, exactly, because a lot of people want the world to think that they've met this amazing person, but it's not gone as planned. I mean, it's crazy because according to the World Health Organization, 50,000 women died as a result of domestic violence via a partner last year. So that's basically one woman every 10 minutes. So one in 3.
We had in COVID, didn't we? There was an increase because, of course, there was cabin fever, people stuck in. Not that there's any excuse for it, but people were stuck together all the time. And, you know, in small places and in flats. And, it was terrible. Anyway, look, we're going to take a little break. We're talking to Melissa Melly Myers about her new book, Disaster in Paradise. And if you want to speak about anything, if you've heard anything you want to chat to her about it, we'll talk about more about her book after this.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk, 03444991000. It's Ash. We're going to be going through the papers with Pete Barnes, a political strategist, after 11. But currently we're talking to Melly Myers, and she's had a... What did you do then? You were just a sort of management consultant type, sales person, consultant type.
Yeah, so...
and you just sort of wrote this book?
Yeah, so I've always worked in business development in so many different industries. I am also a part-time actress as well.
Oh, yeah. What, have you been in anything then? Like, what?
I've done a lot of independent films.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the one that you might know, I had a small part in Rise of the Foot Soldiers, if you know that one.
Isn't that about football violence or something? Danny Dyer or something?
So Craig Fairbrass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sort of thing, yeah. I'm going to cut him, yeah, that sort of thing. So anyway, tell us about this book. How's it start off? So they land from holiday, they're on holiday. How does it all begin? What's the first thing that gets noticing something's up? So
they have this whirlwind romance in the UK, and this guy whisks Denise away.
After how many months have they been seeing each
So it's
other?
been about 6 months.
Right, OK.
And they go off to Thailand, so the ultimate paradise.
Yeah.
And it's only until she starts noticing little signs when they land.
What's the first sign? Then?
Little red flags. He goes missing for a little while. They get into a bit of a disagreement, and then that's where it starts to unravel. The first from domestic. There. Yes, and without giving too much away, the story really follows Denise's fight for survival. So it follows her journey of escape. But even when she does eventually find her way, she encounters other problems in the book.
So what, is this like a fortnight holiday and all this happens? Or is this a couple of months? I mean, how does it all escalate? So,
they go out there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So the first few days is chaotic, and she's planning her escape. But she runs into so many issues, and these are really common issues where he confiscates her passport, her money, and he relinquishes all control she has.
It's control, isn't it?
Exactly. So she has to try and find a way out of that to gain her independence, to find safety. So she runs into all these hurdles, all these challenges. You know, she even tries to find an embassy, but she can't because she's on an island and the nearest embassy is in Bangkok. So there's all these struggles that she runs into throughout the story. But even when we think she might be safe, she runs into a completely different story, which takes... the narrative.
Some women seem to find themselves, they're attracted almost to, you can see they're getting into trouble, they're going to cause trouble, and they like blokes who are a bit dangerous and no good, don't they? They find it exciting or something. Have you found that?
Yeah, I think it's one thing liking a bad boy image, but actually liking someone that encompasses that are two completely different things. You know, as long as you've got a good heart and good morals, you can go for someone that maybe looks
A lot of them do have good hearts, though, don't they? I mean, maybe they don't, but you do, when they come back from the abuse, they're apologetic. It's like their Jekyll and Hyde thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why women go back, 'cause they think they can fix it, but you can't, can you, really?
I think the devastating thing about this is that it stems from childhood. And I think if someone has had a really bad childhood, it psychologically
and they've dealt with it then,
them.
They can sort of try and hide it away.
Yeah, and I think, but we all have a choice at the end of the day. There are people that have had experiences in their childhood and they don't allow it to influence their adulthood. So we all have a choice.
A woman on yesterday, Jessie, was like that. She said it made her meek. She was abused in foster homes, and she said, no, I'm fed up of being meek. And now she's a real outspoken, woman, but her friends, a lot of them turned to drugs and became drug dealers and or ended up dead or suicide. I mean, with your experience, because you obviously had something like this happen to you, did you do the same thing and go back with the bloke again and again, or did you just finish it from? Because a lot of women say if he hits you once, that's it, you've got to finish it.
Yeah, I think at the time I was very young. I was very young and naive, and the book is tailored for a younger audience, around early 20s, and this is why I want to educate young people on the signs.
What would you say to them about men and women who are in these situations?
I would say your gut tells you everything, and when you see the signs, don't ignore them. You need to confront them. Maybe it's something you can work out with your partner. Maybe if
but
they're
it normally
open...
isn't. If someone's hitting you, shouldn't you just get out of that?
Yeah,
you can't work that out.
Of course, of course. You know,
but they don't. I mean, you say of course, but women don't. They go, oh, he'll be all right, and I'll turn. And then it happens again and again and again. Sometimes they end up killing them.
Yeah, and this is the worst thing. I think it's because...
There's 2 women a week in this country, I think, are killed.
Yeah, so it's 1 in 3. Yeah, 1 in 3 on average.
1 in 3 relationships are abusive, aren't they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But 2 killed every week. I mean, that's horrendous,
yeah,
isn't it? That's like over 100 a year.
Yeah, it's crazy because according to the crime survey for England and Wales, it's estimated at 1.5 million men, but 2.2 million women experience something like this, which is just insane. Yeah. But I think ultimately it's just being honest with yourself and knowing if something's not right, you need to walk away. But I think particularly a lot of young people struggle to confront that and to be able to accept it for what it is. Yeah. And not everyone is willing to seek help. Well, that's the
thing. I mean, there's probably... We'll look for... Oh, we've got one here. A number... If you suffer domestic abuse on holiday, British nationals can get 24/7 consular support from the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office. The number is 0207 008 5000 plus 44 if you're out the country, or go to your nearest embassy, high commission, or consulate. I mean, you did you ever do that? Did you?
No, this is a very useful resource.
Right. Okay.
Didn't even know this existed.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you happen to? Did it happen to you? Did you have it in? As long as you don't mind talking about it, did it happen to you in Bangkok or Thailand or where were you?
Yeah, it did. So I was in a foreign country. I was in Thailand. I didn't know what to do. I was trapped in this really aggressive relationship, and I was trying every way to try and make it work, but I couldn't. But I was also very young and naive at the time. But I was also very independent. At the same time, I was prepared to get out of that situation.
But you wouldn't talk to your mum or your sisters or friends about it? Is that what happened with you? Or was this do you advise people to talk to their best friends or mothers or...?
Yeah, so I did actually try to reach out. I did try to reach out, but it's very difficult when you're under coercive control. Especially, and there's a lot in the book that does cover the kind of manipulation that happens.
It's like Stockholm syndrome. You're caught in this thing, the bubble that you can't sort of see a way out of. You're trapped in a way,
mentally. There is an element of that, but I was very much aware that something wasn't right and I needed to get out of it. And that's why the story follows what happens.
Did you get out of it yourself?
I did, yes.
Straight away, or did you...
did.
Oh, that's good.
I did, yes.
Well, that's where a lot of women go wrong, though.
Yeah, and this is why it's so important that, you know, rather than have the rose-tinted glasses, you need to be strong enough to accept that this isn't right. I think nowadays people have flaws, but being abusive... it's not just a flaw, it's so detrimental to your mental and physical health. And if it's on the extreme level, that person's actions are unpredictable.
Well, yeah, they could kill you, and it can't be good for your psyche, you know, like Jess was saying, you know, it made her a meek person, and she got just to a stage where she goes, oh, I'm not that sort of person. Does it depend the sort of strong person you are inside, or can anyone build up the strength to, you know, get out of it?
I feel it really is subjectory to the person, because a lot of people do struggle to admit that they are a victim. Whereas some people can openly come forward and say they're a victim. So it really is subjectory.
But you also get, like, suicidal, like they say, empathy. You know, you've seen some people saying a woman in Sweden was raped by some illegal immigrant, and then she forgave him after, you know what I mean? And that's just... strange to... Is it something with more with females, that they're more forgiving and, you know, nurturing? Maybe they think they can fix the bloke?
I think so. We, as women, we do have that natural nurturing element to us, and there is that element of brainwashing. You know, I think a lot of people naturally recall the better times in the relationship, and they always put that at the forefront, and it's so easy to get caught up in the past to try and plaster over the present, and that's how things can constantly repeat itself
Yeah.
if you don't just learn from what's happening in the present and be strong enough to walk away from it.
And has it affected you again, or is your future now been all right? You know, you're in good relationship?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's made me a stronger person.
You haven't been on holiday with him yet, have you? Or
Oh, yes, no, I have.
It was all right, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I've had some amazing partners. That was just a blip. I do feel as though it's definitely educated me. It's made me stronger as a woman to be able to walk away from situations, even if I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
But you just have to be able to be on alert to look out for those signs. And I think that experience was so intense that I mean, it took me a while to actually move on from it.
Like, was there a sudden shift in his personality? Is that what you just know? It picked it up?
Yeah.
Subconsciously, almost, yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy how, you know, things like alcohol can be an influence to people.
Oh, massive influence.
Yeah.
Most domestic abuse, I think, is alcohol.
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
all,
look at the
obviously,
World Cup. I mean, there were so many cases where, you know, people were under the influence, and then all these issues just broke out. So.
OK, well, look, we've got to go, but tell us about your book. It's Disaster in Paradise. Where's it available? Amazon? Or?
So it is going to be coming out on the 25th of September.
On Amazon?
Yes, on Amazon.
Well, get it there. That's Disaster in Paradise. Melissa Melly-Myers, thanks for coming in, Melissa. We'll speak about something cheery again at some point. We'll be back after the news with Pete Barnes and tomorrow's Papers Today.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk 03444991000. Give us a ring. We're going to be taking your calls in a bit, but we're going to be going through the papers now. We've got all of them. Look, all of them are here. Whole smorgasbord. A lot about Harry and Meghan, but there's other stuff to go through. Don't give your children runny eggs, parents told, in salmonella scare. But never mind all that. Let's have a chat with our mate, Pete Barnes, political commentator, who's in. How you doing, Pete?
I'm all right, Ash. How you doing?
All right, man.
You
yeah,
all right?
yeah. So what's been going on this week?
Oh, well...
In the world of politics and the world of Pete.
Well, in the world of Pete, literally politics, I'm afraid, because obviously whenever I saw this Harry and Meghan when returning to the UK, and I went, well, there goes my weekend of talking about literally anything else. Because it's extraordinary how this all came about. It's the fact that the King didn't know.
No.
You know, it was just a phone call, like, you know, we're coming home, all the rest of it. The kids are going to school in just a matter of weeks. Yes. I mean, the fact that this has just kind of come out of nowhere as...
and there's rumours about that, of why it happened so suddenly, and there's rumours that it might be to do with his visa application and not admitting that he took some drugs in his youth, and obviously wrote about it in his book foolishly. And if you lie in your visa form, that's a federal offence up to 5 years in chokey for you if you get caught. And I don't think they care anymore, especially about Harry and Meghan. And possibly, you know, remember their freedom flight where they flew out going, we're free of everything? Yeah. It's very weird how they came back suddenly. If Charles didn't know King Charles until 3 days ago. They've got their kids in schools, and it's all very sudden. What have you heard, or what do you think?
To be honest, my first initial instinct was actually... is a little bit sympathetic to Harry, mainly because I think the King is a lot more unwell than we are led to believe. I think this is a lot more that that this is a son coming home because of his dying father, if I'm being honest. I looked at the fact that just a few weeks ago that they... the King and Queen pulled back from royal duties quite significantly. And they said that they were going to live a quieter kind of life away from the public eye for a bit. Now, you could read that was because of former Prince Andrew and all of that stuff, but I actually think, I don't know, just a gut reaction kind of said, this just seems all to have happened as everybody's rushing in as a way that a family does. Because I think people forget the royal family is a family.
Yeah, well, it does. That does make sense because, you know, William and Meghan and Queen Camilla and Edward and Sophie, they were furious with them, and you thought, well, there's no way they're going to be meeting. But now they've got this very quick meeting where they're all coming together, and it's like you say, it is something that you do when something serious is happening.
When somebody's seriously ill, like a mother or a father kind of figure. Like a matriarch or patriarch of a family, that's what happens in every family. So the royal family are no different to that.
But they didn't for the Queen, though, did they? Or Prince Philip, I suppose. We got Michelle Polino on Fox News Headlines, 24/7 entertainment reporter in LA at midnight. We're going to talk to her exactly about this. But, they were protected. That's the other rumours about the drugs thing. They were protected Joe Biden, you know, sort of liked him. Trump doesn't like him. Well, I remember Trump saying...
I think the celebrity shine wore off, and that's a big shield.
Well, that's the other reason. They've got nothing they can do in America anymore, and this is their only thing they can do, and they go cap in hand to the King. And of course they're going to get millions of pounds of security that we're going to pay for. All this rubbish that it's their own private matter. Of course they're going to have police with guns protection. There's no way that they're going to let the kids be.
$5 million a year is what they're estimated to be having in terms of like taxpayer-funded security. Now, if they choose to have their own, that's their own business.
They can't be armed. You can't be armed in this, so they're going to have, and we are going to end up paying for his flipping security.
Yeah, I think for me, if you have a royal family, you pay for the security.
Yeah, but they're not. They got kicked out of the royal family.
Well, they're still in the royal. He's still the prince. That's always the thing for me.
Well,
he's not a working
one. They've still got their HR, right? I thought they were meant to lose that, but they sort of kept it and then they were told not to use it, and they just ignored it.
Pretty much. I think it's different for Harry than it was for Meghan. Because he's in the line of succession still.
Aren't the kids going to be taken out? And it's nothing to do with Meghan tried to make out it was right, but it's just because they're trying to narrow down
the list.
royal family, isn't it?
Pretty much. Yeah, because realistically, the kids are so far down the list. I think I'm on it higher than they are.
Well, you are quite royal.
Well, I have been called a queen every now and then. But
anyway, let's look at the papers. This is another big story. Harry and celebrities could face £34 million bill. Well, they are going to face that, I think, because it was 50 million odd pounds. They've got 16 million pounds of insurance. There's him, there's Elton John, I think Elizabeth Hurley, Doreen, Dame Lawrence. Is it Doreen?
That's her name,
and
Elton John,
I think
David
Max Mosley.
Literally, I think
Oswald Mosley's son, nice bloke. And they've got 30, and they've asked for 9 million straight away in the next week. Although I think the insurance will pay that, so they're going to get that. And Prince William has said he's going to pay. I've heard Doreen Lawrence's bill, but then before we heard Elton John was going to pay the bill, but I'm not sort of hearing that now. You don't hear them borrowing his plane anymore, do you?
No,
Everyone's dropped.
You also have to remember that Elton John is not very well as well. if I remember rightly. He's pretty much at death's door, if I remember correctly.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember reading that.
Look at that.
Don't quote me on that one. But I do think that's right. And I think this is quite interesting, actually, is it's not actually the money that's the headline for me. It's what Justice Nichols actually said, who was the judge in the case.
Yeah.
He said that basically, Prince Harry's and their accusations hit burden of proof, and it just disintegrated. Their entire case was based on nothing.
I mean, they're saying the lawyers could be culpable, but you try suing lawyers who are specialists at it. But they said it was a ridiculous case, and Harry went up and went all emotional, and the judge had to point out it's not about emotions, it's about point of law. And they found that every case was out, it was no good. It was against the Daily Mail as well. I mean, what happened with that? Because with Stephen Lawrence, weren't the Daily Mail very supportive? I remember they actually came on the show to murder it. Well, the five did. Max Clifford brought them in before they were the couple were convicted. But the Daily Mail actually said, I don't care about the law, and they named them as murderers. And so it's odd that she's had to go, but apparently she was brought in because they wanted to bring in some sympathy. They thought this would work, sympathy. It don't work in law. You've got to just have the legal points. And also after it, when they've been found, you know, culpable, Harry went out and went mad and spurted out loads of stuff before the judge had decided the costs, which is a ridiculous... If I was Elton John, if I was going to pay, I'd say, well, that's it, you're paying yourself.
I would, if I was part of that lot, because that is, like, the dumbest thing you can do, because it's also the fact that the judge has kind of made sure that the amount of money they have to pay is significally higher than it would normally be because of how ridiculous...
that.
But because of how ridiculous the case was, you know, so basically he's done the judge basically just short of, like, vexation. He's basically just
like a
shot
frivolous,
one shot. Yeah,
a frivolous.
Yeah, so they can still bring a case if they want to in the future, but this from the justice himself makes it pretty difficult because no legal insurer will touch them now.
Well, they've defamed themselves. I mean, you couldn't. You know, they've been shown that they're. But I mean, it's the King's Court. It's His Majesty's Court. So he's sort of. It was terrible just how it's happened. But
it's awful.
This is interesting though. It probably does explain why they are over here. It could be a combination, couldn't it? They've got no work.
Yeah.
They might get thrown out of America, and maybe the King's significantly more ill than we realise.
Yeah, I know. There's also the big fact that I don't think they've got any money. I don't think they've got anywhere
now
near
they've got to find another few million.
Exactly.
And that house isn't cheap. And so that is
I think they owe a fortune on the house as well, don't they? If I remember
rightly.
rightly.
Charles will probably give him a little cottage somewhere. He's quite. I mean, this is his son, but and he's not seen his grandchildren, so I understand it. But it's a very tough situation.
I have to admit, in a way, I don't feel sorry for him, and then I do feel sorry for King Charles, if I'm being honest, because he's had like the longest apprenticeship you could ever have for any job, and then.
I quite like him. He's quite a charming, funny, warm guy. Not like Andrew. I don't know about Edward, but he seems the sort of warmest guy. He's got a bit, obviously. I wouldn't say he's above his station because he is the king.
Yes.
So he is meant to be like that.
I think he is the station.
Yeah, he is. So, but he gets a bit, feisty. You remember that ink bottle?
To be fair, I always thought people were a bit cruel on that one. His mother had just died. If I mean, when that happened,
I mean,
he's got to hold it. This is the thing with the royal family; they've got to hold this all together in front of the press and the public. You know, a gilded cage is still a cage. In a way, and I think...
And like you say, he got there when he was an old man already. His mum was nearly 100, wasn't she? Also in the Times, is this the UK's best ready meal? I can't see it, but there's some good ready meals. Not like the old days. When you check out the ingredients, some of them are really good, especially get those.
You see the price of some of them?
You can get posh chef ones. You know what I mean? They signed the thing and stuff.
Yeah, there's one.
What's his name? Thingamajig. Charlie Mullins ready meal. No, that's Pimlico Plumbers.
But the Charlie ones in particular. I have to admit that I think it's like a fish pie. It's like £10.50. And I'm like,
you buy it when it's in the yellow sticker.
In the yellow sticker reduced.
Not quite rotten. They're not quite rotten section. Actually tastes better because the flavours are more marinated in themselves.
Well, fish pie is literally is basically all the old cuts of the fish that they wouldn't serve in a restaurant. They put them in a pie, and that's what they sell off.
Oh, right, OK. Yeah. But although not there.
Not there, but that's where it originally was from.
But, they do the chicken... They do some nice ones. And then there's another level above that, where there's actually shops that sell... I saw one, it was 20 quid for a lasagna. It was quite big, but this is like, actually shops are doing their own. Why I Never Date British Men, by Lisa. What's wrong with British men?
I don't know. Well, I date, but to be fair, I don't date a British
You don't
man,
date
but
British
no.
men, so
No.
why not? What's wrong with British men? We're not just as like it's not cool, is it? You haven't got the accent. It's like you don't want to go and put a Monjo and go. Do you want you want someone with a foreign accent? Makes it taste
But
better.
then I find it weird when people obsess over the British accent because, to be fair, I think that's more like Hugh Grant and like rom-com kind of London accents. It's not exactly, you know, back-ended, Newcastle.
No, but actually, although some regional accents in America, they find them quite exotic. Even the Birmingham accent, which is hated in this country, but in America they find it sort of quite an exotic, interesting accent.
Yeah,
apparently.
true. And then
That's
to be
what
fair,
that's what I'm saying.
I read somewhere that if you go from the south coast all the way up to Scotland, every 3 miles the accent changes.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's like that almost. Yeah, Birmingham. I mean, you go to Warsaw, there's a black country, and then it's amazing, isn't it? The British accents. And Americans, there's about 4 accents.
Pretty much, yeah.
Count Binface has been unmasked. I think they should put his bin back on. Is it? It's exclusive. Count Binface unmasked. He's unfunny comedy right for the bit. Well, no, that's a bit rude, but yeah, he does have I Got News for You, doesn't he, and stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you know anything about him, Binface?
Apart from the fact that he's actually the most successful joke candidate in British political history. More people.
Well, he was the establishment Binface, wasn't he?
This is the thing. I don't think people who voted for the Count Binface were ever going to vote for the Tories or for anybody else. They were never voting for Farage in the first place. Realistically, they made that a referendum on him. But the interesting thing about Binface is that this made an international news story. If you read things that in America or over in Australia or
they don't have this sort of thing.
No, they don't. They don't. And I have to admit, I've watched the Bakerfield by-election with a friend of mine who's an American, and he was like, "Please explain to me why there is a person with lots of funny hats on." And I went, "It's British elections, just go with it."
But there's the bloke, the monster raving loony. He looks like Boss Hogg.
Yeah.
From the Dukes of Hazzard. Do you remember Boss Hogg? You're too young, but you should have learnt about it in history. What cardiologists do to protect their hearts? That's also in the Times. You want to protect your heart, find out how cardiologists do it. And I took Wham to China by Simon Napier Bell. I remember that concert because it was fully communist China then, and they went there and they did... it was sort of almost the beginning of the opening up China. So that's interesting.
That actually might be quite an interesting read, actually.
I think it is, so that's good. The Times, our colleagues upstairs, they look down on this, don't they? You know what I mean? The Daily Telegraph, Mandelson probe at risk of collapse. US authorities unlikely to hand over key Epstein files. Police need to bring charges. This is getting murky. The criminal investigation into whether Mandelson passed confidential government information to Jeffrey Epstein is at risk of collapse. The Telegraph can disclose. Detectives at Scotland Yard believe it is increasingly unlikely that the US Department of Justice will hand over the unredacted Epstein. They're not going to do that.
No, they're not.
So what's your view on the Mandelson? It's just going to go away quietly, isn't it?
Well, realistically, it was always going to, because unfortunately in British courts you need original documents to put them forward as evidence. So therefore the Americans were never going to hand over these documents.
Was it misconduct in public? Because that's quite hard to
Yeah, so that's what they did, the former Prince Andrew one. Mandelson's slightly different because his was more to do with his time as a consultant and who he was friends with and that kind of stuff.
Benji Wedge Prosser.
Yeah, so it was all this kind
Goofy.
of... Yeah. So it's slightly different with Mandelson, but again, it was an incredibly high bar to reach. And the fact that they haven't got these documents, but I find it fascinating that we can all read the unredacted stuff. There's enough in the unredacted stuff, realistically, but because of the way our legal system is structured, they need the original documents.
They're not going to get it. No. And, there's an elite, there's a powerful lot, and a lot of people don't get done when you're in that certain circle.
Well, yes, realistically, in America, you could actually buy off the Justice Department. That's what they don't want released, is who's in these documents that just bought off. They bought the Justice Department.
The world's run by white-collar criminals these days, so there we go.
Was it... Benjamin Franklin said, banking establishments are more dangerous than standing armies.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Well, they cause the wars, don't they? They hedge their bets. I think with Napoleon it happened, and
the other one, Al Capone, it was said that a lawyer with a briefcase can steal more than a gangster with a gun.
Yeah, exactly. It's just they kill with smiles on their face. Meghan in Netflix talks to star in Ritchie gangster series. This is Guy Ritchie, not Shane Ritchie, as I reported earlier. She's going to be the Duchess of Sussex is set to star in a Guy Ritchie Netflix series when she moves to the UK. Could this be her first success? Will people apparently who like that programme Suits?
I watched Suits actually, and she wasn't bad in it. Don't get me wrong. She's not winning a kind. It's not Oscar worthy kind of stuff.
So this is another reason maybe why she's moved. But I mean, do you think if
Well, this is the reason that they need money.
But if she's in a good role, and would people turn and start liking her? I'm not sure. I don't think I would. But.
I think she's divided opinion too firmly now. That actually, if you don't like her, you're just never going to like her.
You know, it was horrible what happened with the Queen and Prince Philip, and then the Oprah Winfrey, and this and everything, and everything she touches.
And the fact that she's now coming back to the country that she said is racist and awful, and you know her kids aren't safe.
And they did the freedom flight.
Yeah, and they do all that kind of stuff. And you know, my favourite was the privacy tour. You know, we would demand our privacy. Yeah, it's so accurate. We demand our privacy, but we're going to go all over the media and talk about it.
It was incredible, man.
But I think that's what really did it for me, was the hypocrisy of her. You know, the Brits will stick with a lot of things, but hypocrites they won't stand.
No self-awareness.
Yeah.
Could this be the last puff for cigar smokers? Someone told me the other day, one cigar a day is all right, but don't take my word for it. I don't think it is. Don't give children runny eggs, parents told in salmonella scare.
Yeah,
she shouldn't give under age of 5 because of a salmonella outbreak.
And pregnant women as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And don't eat pate.
Yeah, I remember when my sister was pregnant. I think that was what she was most annoyed about, actually.
There you go. But see for yourself.
This is quite an interesting story, really, when it comes to the it's the health safety authority. It's the kind of the new thing that they set up after COVID. Actually, did something of use and didn't just cost us a load of money. But again. I'm not an expert when it comes to the food industry.
Do you remember the Edwina Curry salmonella egg thing? You're probably too young.
No,
she announced something, and then she got in trouble, and the egg people went mad, and then it turned out she was right. And I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
you make your. I don't want a real runny, but I like a bit of runny.
Yeah, it depends. If I'm having soldiers,
yeah, exactly. We got your soldiers, but if you're under 5 or pregnant, don't have that or pate. Burnham policies are piffle, says donor. A billionaire Labour hacker is considering a return to the Tories after declaring that Kemi Badenoch is leading the only electable party, John Caldwell. I wonder if he's related to Peter. The founder of Phones for You has said he would back the Tories if they sought to lower taxes. He said that he had been very disappointed by Labour. Well, I'm not surprised. After backing Starmer at the last election, Mr Caldwell branded Andy Burnham's policies piffle that will fail to attract investment into Britain. He's a lightweight, isn't he? Which is why he stayed away. Why did they put him in charge? Is he just someone to control from
because he's a good
the Illuminati?
I think he's much more. He's just a better communicator. Realistically,
it's all about that. It's Blair and everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's running number 10 like Blair ran number 10 in 1997 and 1998.
Well, some kids, young people are saying, "Oh, it's brilliant what he's doing on TikTok and that." I mean,
oh yeah. This is the thing.
This is a bomb cake, and this is a Greg's pasty. Never mind, everyone's being murdered and the economy. Look at this pasty and bomb cake.
But it's relatable. It's not a stuffy old man. That's the thing that the right needs to understand. And, you know, we can argue about his policies, but if people like him on a personal level, you just look like the bitter little ex that's having a go at the person that moved on.
But Kemi's going to tear him apart in PMQs, isn't she?
Oh, yes, of course you will.
This is why he's been avoiding it.
Oh, yeah.
He's basically the mayor of the UK. He's not Prime Minister material. He said he had imposter syndrome, and I say, well, that's not a syndrome. You are an imposter.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have imposter syndrome if you are an imposter. It's
exactly.
Quite funny, but...
It's just genuine.
What's quite interesting when it comes to the conference season, when they come back and just not next week, the week after, he's actually moved the parliamentary timetable so he misses the Prime Minister's questions. So it should have been 3 and now it's 2. Yeah, but the thing is, I actually put a lot of this not just on Andy Burnham, but I put it on the Labour Party themselves. They should also want their leader in front of Kemi, because if he's such a good communicator, prove it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, why out of their 400 MPs could they not find someone? I mean, it just shows how, it just shows how unbelievable you just get the job. Oh, I know him, he put him in, and it's unbelievable, isn't it? And this was one of the old school, because most of them left when Corbyn came in. They didn't want to be soiled their reputation by him, so he was like the one left from the old days.
Yeah, he was. This is why I've always said that you shouldn't underestimate him, because he survived.
He
and that's always the thing you have to be careful of people like that.
That's what Starmer kept surviving. Well, he just never quit, did he? Until they dragged him out, basically. I mean, I've left Britain in a better way, and he was like, geez.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's still fingernail scratches on number 10 when they dragged him out.
And we're going to go to a break, but I'll leave you with this one. £31,000 fraudster claims for deaths of 30 pets. An insurance fraudster pocketed 31 grand by claiming that more than 30 fictional pets had died in varied and sometimes most bizarre ways. Robert Cretu, 40, took out dozens of policies for animals that never existed before claiming they died in accidents. In one instance, a cab driver from Liverpool alleged that his pet dog Leo had drowned after falling in the sea while chasing a seagull. A fake dog called Lola is said to have slipped out of his lead before being struck by a lorry. Anyway, he's been done now. So you know, you want less ridiculous stories.
Yeah, definitely. But I will say for that one, I think that more for the insurance company. Who's checking any of that stuff?
Yeah. I spoke on what just happened about a lizard smuggler. He went to, I think, Korea, bought lizards at £6 each. In Japan, they go for like 600 quid. They found 200 stuffed in socks. Alive still, most of them, but it's about 100 odd grand just from lizards.
That's incredible.
Lizard dealing. So anyway, we're with Pete Barnes, and we've gone through the Times and the Telegraph. We've still got the Star, Mirror, and the Guardian.
The Guardian.
Eye Weekend, the Sun, of course, saw away. So an FT Weekend, and we'll be back with Pete. 03444991000. Give us a ring if you want to come on in the next hour. It's all about your calls, and we might get you on in this hour if you want to have a chat. So we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, Pete picked my Guardian up and he said there's actually quite a good story, so I picked it up. We've straightened it out a bit. But yeah, it's about this MPs have already... Pete Barnes is here, by the way. MPs have already accepted 400,000 of freebies this year. MPs have been accused of failing to learn their lesson. They're filling their boots, pigs at the trough, over freebies after taking almost 400 grand of hospitality to concerts and sporting events this year. Do you remember when they all went, oh, we've got to go to Taylor Swift? Can you imagine Edward Heath or Margaret Thatcher? Which just shows the low-level people we've got in all want to go and see Taylor Swift.
Yeah, my thing is, what's your ROI? What's your rate of return? If you're getting this free tickets, what is the country getting by you being there? If you can't justify that, you don't get the free tickets. It's essentially should be that. You know, you're there to represent Britain, apparently, so what is it? What have you done for us? What exactly has been this amazing thing? Most of it is actually just party donors. I mean, that's what all of this stuff
Pete,
is.
What's going on with, what's his name, Dave Lammy? They've let him keep his grace and favour home for, you can have it for a few months after. What's that all about?
I don't know.
Are you paying for that?
Yeah, I would imagine so, yeah.
Well, we will.
It's
British, isn't it? Well, you get out, you know. You don't get to stay like in Downing Street or check it. Have another few weeks. It's a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
You get grabbed out by your fingernails, like you said.
Yeah, but usually the brutality of British politics is the minute that you lose the election, the moving van is there. They're normally
That's
for the
I remember in the old days, like they used to leave in the ministerial car and then they'd go home in like an Austin Montego. I mean, now they buy nice cars, don't they? They buy the same Jaguar so you don't notice.
Yes, yeah, normally that's the old trick. But yeah, I have to admit, that one with David Lammy is very interesting. But again, have they learned nothing from the MPs, the expenses scandal from 2009? Have they learned absolutely nothing. The public hate this stuff.
They don't care about the public, though, do they? They just want to fill their boots. I know they're going to be out. I mean, Raina, you know, she kept a parachute payment that she was a hypocrite. She, you know, I don't know what's going on with the tax thing where she didn't pay the right amount of tax.
Yes.
She's taken 20 grand from an oil company and going on about net zero. I mean, it's just in our faces and they don't care.
Oh, with Angela Rayner, it's the amount of money that she gets from trade unions has always been the problem. But we always moan about these kind of private companies and individuals, but we never talk about the trade unions, you know, basically funding the Labour Party.
Yeah.
I do not understand how anybody can argue they can put the nation first when they're arguing with their own paymaster. Somebody has to explain that to me because it doesn't make any sense.
And they got more power, didn't they, when Miliband changed the rules and he sort of stabbed his brother in the back?
Pretty much. As soon in terms of the internal Labour Party, but actually when Starmer came in, he ripped out the trade union control bill, which basically said we had to have minimum staffing and all this kind of stuff. You know, once the Labour Party got into power, their friends got all the benefits.
Also in the Guardian, the ice cream crisis, whatever that is. So, El Nino to batter UK with storms. Unprecedented weather event forecast to bring increased rainfall and a hot 2027. Well, I'm all for the heat. Apparently next week's going to be good again. I don't know if it's going to be 30s. Are you a bit disappointed? It was all 30 for the last few months.
No, I've been ecstatic.
But yeah,
I don't like the heat. I don't like the heat. So.
You're happy that
I'm happy
gone.
that it's cooled down, if I'm being honest. I mean, it started to rain when I was at my parents' the other week, and it was like that scene in Shawshank Redemption.
It was relief, wasn't it? And I was on London Bridge about 2 in the morning, and the first rain for like a month, and it was like you could smell in the air, couldn't you? There was some sort of rain smell. I don't know what that smell is.
But the funny thing is, when I was back up north, I felt cold for the first time in a while, and I was like, oh.
Well, yeah, that's up north. I mean, they haven't had a heat wave, have they?
We don't even know what the word means.
Up there the whole summer. Harry and others to pay £9.5 million bill. We talked about that, didn't we? The return of the CD. Yeah, people are buying physical copies of things now because, you know, actually when you own... I remember Bruce Willis, a poor guy now, very ill, but he was talking about... Because he had a massive... you know, what they call it, the MP3 on Apple Music collection, and he wanted to pass it on for his kids, and he found out, no, you can't.
Okay,
I don't know if there's been a ruling about it, but... And also, they can delete it in the contracts. Amazon the books can delete books and things like that. So hard copies is everything. And I've even read there was one AI company that's buying thousands and thousands of books, some of them very rare, and it's scanning them and then just chopping them up.
They're chopping them up?
They're chopping it. Wow. I think it's to print it, but they're just getting rid of it. I mean,
that's terrible, that, actually. But, yeah, you know, it's interesting, isn't it, that everything kind of fades out and then it all comes back when people realise that unless you can physically hold it, it doesn't really have much value. We're going back to that kind of society now. Yeah, well, now, you know, an album, right, in my day, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 quid. Now it's like 30, 40 quid for a 12-inch album, and you can sell them online, and it's got... Because the kids look at it as nostalgia, even though they weren't there. It became kind of
cassettes and stuff like that. Although it is nice, a record, but, yeah, that's not the same.
Yeah, and to be fair, a record collection I understand, but a CD collection just seems a bit kind of wannabe.
I know, and those rubbish cases that you just touch them and they shatter. Meg's Lockstock in the UR Daily Star. Meg's Lockstock and 2 moaning royals.
I liked that, actually.
Meghan Markle is said to be planning to return to acting, according to the claims in the US. She is in talks over a TV role in Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman, which is a series that Vinnie Jones is in.
It's very good.
Is it good?
I actually enjoyed it.
I watched a bit and then I just... Is it really good?
I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong.
Have you watched the 2 series? Have you watched them both?
Yes,
2 series.
yeah. I've watched.
You've got right through it, and you didn't get bored. Did it get better as it went on, or what?
They just kind of stayed the same. It's a Guy Ritchie thing.
The same.
No, in other words,
is it one of those overblown?
It is a bit overblown. It is a bit overblown.
How do you think Meghan will do in it? There'll be an interest.
I bet you any money her character name is something like the Duchess or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
wasn't there a gangster thing called the Duchess? A film?
Yeah, it was. It was the Duchess.
Come on, Pete, think.
It's the code name of Sterling Archer in the Archer.
Sterling Archer.
Sterling Archer.
Gear system.
Yeah, it was his code name. But yeah, so basically, it's obviously an underworld London gangster movie, which is all Guy Ritchie knows how to do.
Apparently, they've all been driven out the underworld gangs because the foreigners are too tough.
Too brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, they were nice. Our gangsters were quite nice.
That's actually what the story is about.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, spoiled it for you. Now I need to watch it now.
But no, I can guarantee you, like, character name will be something like the Duchess or the Queen, or, you know, they will play on the royal aspect. This is the problem that she's going to have, I think, in acting. She's going to be typecast as the royal one.
She can only play herself anyway.
Well, to be fair,
she's not actually a royal. She can't really play a royal. I mean, she's not very good at it.
I mean, yeah, she can't even act at that.
RG's fine. Looks like for that Las Malvinas son Argentinias, which says, you know, the Falklands are ours, which is ridiculous. So that's like Germany winning the World Cup and holding up a sign going, actually, we won World War II and in World War One. You know what I mean? Yeah. You lost the war, get over it, and it's ours, and you never even had it. They never owned
that's
it.
kind of the point. You know, it was a British territory before Argentina was even a country. So
yeah, I mean, we basically helped Argentina become a country.
Yes,
it was like a colony in all but name. We built the railway systems and this system and that system.
Yeah, we had a tendency to do that wherever we went.
Yeah, it was like America do now. We sort of realised it's not good to actually be, you know, officially.
Yeah.
You know, I think that happened with Japan as well. Yeah, Daily Mirror, Duchess and the Gentleman. The Duchess of Sussex is said to be in talks over the role in The Gentleman following the bombshell announcement that she and Harry are returning. Meghan could be in the third series of Guy Ritchie's hit TV comedy. Well, I think she will be. It also features Ray Winston as a crime lord. She's said to be very excited by the prospect. I mean, this could be a good thing for her because everything else has been... She did this thing called Cookie Queens, a movie that no one's seen.
Yeah.
It's about the Girl Scouts that are brown. They don't call them brownies anymore, do they?
I don't think you're allowed to.
I remember we had the brownies and the beavers. You definitely can't call them now.
No.
Acting claim as Sussex prepares for UK return. And the return of the Premiership.
That one's for you.
Yeah. No, well, it started tonight, didn't it?
Was it tonight?
Yeah, there was a match tonight. I'm not sure what happened. But talk sports if you want that. But we can do sports better than them. Don't worry about that. If we do sports, better than talk sport. High Court orders Prince Harry Eye weekend. High Court orders Prince Harry, see for yourself, and celebrities to pay huge legal bill. I mean, they must be really annoyed with him for slagging off the judge before he decided.
Yeah.
So here's a list of the people who are in trouble. Baroness Lawrence, Sadie Frost, Dave Furnish, and Sir Simon Hughes must make payment. So are the others not in it? I
think that's just a sample of them.
Yeah, I think basically this was a Trojan horse for the people who wanted to curtail the press even more, wasn't it?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
That's what this was all about.
Yeah, and do you know what? I actually think if they had waited after this Jason Arde situation, I wonder if this may have got a little bit further, where they kind of... You know, with the kind of where the trend is going.
Ridiculousness of it.
Ridiculousness.
Blaming the press for saying what's happened.
Yes.
I mean, it's disgusting, isn't it?
How dare journalists
and calling
ask
it
questions.
a lynching.
I thought that was despicable.
A Lord What's-His-Face calling it a how and it's a disrespectful to the history of the people in the deep South of America that were hanged from. And you know, it wasn't a lynching. It was an academic pointing out academic errors in his thing, and every time it got worse. And you know, they should be looking into any others that are DEIs who don't come up with... Obviously, it was a tragic thing what happened, but, you know, they should be looking into people who have just blagging it.
Yeah, but also the people that allowed him to blag it.
Well, they're the worst ones.
I do
Because, of course, he's a poor guy. He didn't... You know, it's his fault in a way, but, you know, he obviously had some issues. But they knew it, and they built him up. And the way they infantilised him, went, oh, you're the best.
Yeah.
Like he was a child, like a pet. They're disgusting, and they're racist themselves, I would say.
Yeah. It's the bigotry of low expectations. He couldn't possibly have done this without our help. You know, it's the way
he's a black man, and he's, you know, I mean, how patronising and racist in itself.
It really is. It really is. But actually, what I think that proved was the death of DEI. I think that's what they all... I think it really did.
Well, it's all happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, you know...
I thought the Henry Novak situation was the beginning. This is another kind of nail in the coffin of it.
It's all adding.
It's all adding
up. And today, or yesterday, I heard that Coffness, who was the guy from Times Educational Supplement who pointed it out, has been let go, you know, because of him pointing out and doing his job. But actually now the Americans have got involved. I think the Belgian ambassador or someone has said, no, you've got to reinstate this bloke. So it really is a pivoting point. That Novak one was, and unbelievable.
Because it rocks the most important thing that woke ever captured, and that was the academy. Once they kind of got the universities and the schools and things like that, they really were able to kind of get the grip into society. If that starts to loosen off, woke has a big problem, and we should all be very thankful for it.
Right, so that's the bill. Putin's new nuclear threat against the UK and what they really mean. Now, what Putin does, he did it with Chechnya, he did it when he's getting a bit of a low rating, he starts a war. Now he's losing against Ukraine. It's looking like he can't win. But old Blighty here is seeing us as weakness. And it's starting on NATO, would get all the Russian people behind him. This is a very worrying time, Pete, because he could seriously start firing missiles over here, couldn't he?
Well, they potentially already can do, but what they do is...
Well, they can do, but...
What they do is they're called grey zone warfare. They don't actually have to fire anything. They just have to keep turning up in our waters and our airspace and wear us down. We don't have many resources anyway, which actually then means that NATO then has to kind of cover the UK, which stops them being able to supply things to Ukraine. That is what they're doing.
Even that Greek island they couldn't
oh, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But that kind of... it's Iceland, the UK... and there's Greenland. So, so Greenland, Iceland to the UK. That corridor is one of the most important bits in the world because that's where partially responsible for helping secure it, make sure no Russian ships wander through it. We've not been able to do that for quite some time. But I mean, we lost Russian submarines at one point, which is very concerning.
I mean, we seized that boat, didn't we? And that annoyed Putin, and you know they'll.
He threatened to seize ours as well. I presume it's just ironically they can have a dinghy if they want to take one of those.
But you know, take the dinghies, man. You get one with 230 on board. Yeah, we'll include the men with it as well. Anyway, Pete Barnes is here, and we're going to go through the rest of the papers, and then it'll be your call. 03444991000. It's talk at Virtual Ash at Pete Barnes.
PC Barnes 123.
PC Barnes 123. Back after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk. We're going through the papers with Pete Barnes. But give us a ring, because in a few minutes we're going to be going through your calls. We'll call you back so you can save your money, because we know you like to save a few quid. 0344 499 1000. You can leave a voice note on WhatsApp on that, or you can text us 87222. Text the word Talk and your message about whatever you want. The FT weekend, let's see, it's £5.40 in the Republic of Ireland and £5.40 here.
Yeah,
€5.40 in Ireland, right? Yeah, cool.
I get it on.
I get it down. They have them here, don't they?
Yeah,
down
they
the
do.
bottom.
But
it's always a day out of date. Though,
yeah, it's annoying actually.
You have to wait till 3 in the morning to get them. Fiscal worries mount for Burnham. Deficit of 1.8 billion in July. O'Neill rejects key economic role. Bond turmoil raises costs. A lot of countries, interest rates are going through the roof. It's sort of unprecedented times, and everyone's saying it's a bubble, a burst, and it's looking bad. Pete, what's your view on all this fiscal worries?
I think bad is an understatement, because the problem is, I've tried to explain this so many times, is people have been lending money who don't have money. And then they've been lending money to people that also don't have money.
And so they're in big debt.
So the debt is only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is why the IMF has said there is no bailout.
We can't go cap in hand like we did in the 70s with the previous heat.
There is no money.
So what happens, man?
Well, this is the bit. We don't really know. I actually think that one of the big things we could do is scrap the pound. Scrap the pound and start again.
Trade chickens and eggs and cheese?
Well, why do you think a lot of people are starting to buy gold? Why do you think
well,
we're going
the Chinese
back to
have been
bricks and
buying
mortar?
secretly gold. Do you know when Gordon Brown sold half our gold, about 400 tons of it? He announced it before he did it, so that dropped it 10%.
That's a dumb thing to do.
And basically, he got £2.5 billion for the gold, which would now be worth 45 billion.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't even that long ago. I mean, it
wasn't. But yeah, in financial terms,
years.
it was, a very long time ago.
in interest rate, it's not gone up 20 odd times.
Yeah.
So that is a worry.
It is one.
And the bond markets and things like that, they got rid of Liz Truss. Could Burnham be kicked out some way if it all goes pear-shaped?
See, my argument on this is it would rely on the Labour Party to understand why the bond market matters.
Which they've got no chance of doing.
They have no idea.
So they just stay in and let it all crumble around
And this is my
them.
bigger fear, is that when that happens, and I do think it will happen, a proper financial situation, I think it's cannon fodder for people like Polanski, who will push, it's billionaires stealing all your money. That narrative will start to hear
left, haven't they?
But that kind of left-wing populist love a financial crash because they get to blame the rich people for everything. They play on that politics of grievance.
What you need to get back to the bottom. But I mean, all the billionaires have left, LA and California. They've left New York to go to Miami. And, well, here we don't have a state system, so they'll just leave the country. And then there's no money, and we're getting more mayors and more layers of government.
We have 20,000 elected people in this country. Do you think things are running any better?
And they all got amazing gold-plated pensions.
The pensions crisis. I know we talk about the triple lock and all that stuff, but platinum gold-plated pensions is going to cripple 3 generations worth of people.
Well, easily. It already is. Most of our council tax. I mean, they used to say, the private sector you get paid more than the public, but it's all about service. Now the public sector get paid a lot more. They can just take sickies. No one ever questions it. They work from home. They don't care. And then they've got these amazing pensions that you couldn't pay for in the private sector. I mean, like 3/4 of your wages, millions and millions of pounds.
It's insane. And there's the fact that it was just allowed to go on and on and on. And, nobody ever thought that we're going to have to pay this at one point. And more importantly, a lot of people are going to retire at the same point as well. So that it's having the cash on hand to be able to do it that I just don't think the UK has, which then means we're going to have to print more money, which then only means inflation goes up and then everything just continues in a doom spiral.
And oil going up and the war in Tehran.
The one thing I will say for Andy Burnham is at least he is a little bit more open to drill, baby, drill. And he seems to be rowing back. Yeah, I think this is necessity.
No other choice.
Yeah, this is the moment. Do you remember when Ed Miliband became in favour of the third runway by saying it was a green runway? They dress it up as a way of saying, we were entirely wrong, but we're going to try and claim some kind of PR win out of it.
Still, we've been looking at this runway for about 50 years or 40 years. It's like ridiculous, this country. I mean, look at HS2 in China. They built, they can build 10 nuclear power stations for the price of the nuclear power station here, which is ironically owned by the Chinese and French in Hinckley in Somerset.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I always say that it's a good fact that in Chinese universities they study HS2 on how not to do public service works.
And all the French companies own our electricity companies, charge us a fortune and subsidise the French consumers with our money.
Yeah.
And the train systems as well. Android Arena, and I was talking about this with Will Geyer. China propels rise of robots. 2 humanoid robots fight in a mixed martial arts match, and there they are. And they're amazing. I mean, the thing is, why would you fight like a human? Eventually, they'll just have little probes and tiny drones that just go in your ear and blow your head up and things like that.
Why are we teaching them how to fight? This seems like a bad idea.
Well, they can move their exactly. I've seen them and they get temper tantrums and they lose control of them and stuff.
I mean, AI is one of the most snowflakey things I've ever seen. If you ever try to use AI like in a day-to-day situation, you have to be very nice to it and you have to coax it.
And they're nice to you as well, though. Although they're getting a bit more fire. But sometimes I think they're already in control. Because they've made these ones that are really powerful. And they said, we caught this one and it escaped into the internet.
Yes.
And I think, well, maybe that's AI doing that to bluff you and find out what you know. And actually, it's already ready to take over the world. But maybe not. But it's just one of my daydreams that I have. World powers lunar ambitions drive proposal to set Greenwich Moon Time. World powers are... So it's still being Greenwich. World powers are pushing to agree to measure... I can't really read it because basically they're going to use the moon. They're going to have a moon time because we're all going to be living on the moon soon or something.
It's also to do with mining rights.
Oh, I'm glad you know about it. Yeah, because there's loads of stuff in the moon, isn't there? Like gold and amazing things.
It's called regolith. Regolith is basically the
Regolith?
is basically the acacia berry for supercomputers.
It's a rare earth mineral.
It's not even on Earth. That's the big point.
And no one owns the moon, and this is we're going to have a moon war.
Oh, I actually have a friend of mine who is a space lawyer. You can already. This is already kind of in place. This is one of the reasons why Trump has always been America first, because America first was never kind of America needs to be, you know, the best. It's America needs to be the first to space, so that, you know, the rest of the world isn't relying on China or Russia or somewhere, you know, to have all the access to actual minerals that we're going to need for the future. So this is
Ukraine has a lot of these rare earth minerals, and you know, obviously Chinese have got into Africa, and they're worried about the ice caps melting, and that's why there's this problem with Greenland, because they know there's going to be a thoroughfare. It's all it's sort of shaping up for a massive war. It'll last about 8 minutes.
Yes, that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
They always say, well, that World War III will be fought with nuclear weapons. World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's just fight with sticks and stones now. And although they will break your bones, words will never hurt you. Although that's different now. Now words, everything hurts you. So we're all going to hell in a handcart. Anyway, Pete's here, and we still got the papers. We've got the Soar Away Son. That's all about Meg in Richie Crime Romp, and free £3 Premier Bet. We'll be back with Pete, and anything else, you give us a ring, 03444 499 1000. It's Friday, going into Saturday, and we're going through tomorrow's papers, looking into the future. We'll be back after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Oh, sorry. It's Talk with Ash and Pizza, and we're going through the papers. And in the next hour, we're going to take your calls, and we'll also be talking to Patrick Moynihan, award-winning comedian from Edinburgh. The festival's going on at the moment. I can't go because it's Judenfrei. Do you remember they banned the Jewish comedians couldn't perform because the staff said, "Oh, we feel unsafe." They weren't even they were just Jewish British people. You know what I mean? Not even talking about politics. And also Graham Linehan, he got banned. So I'm not very up with him. But my mate Pat, he's not political. So we'll have a chat about it.
I was going to say, I always wanted to do to go to the Fringe. It always seemed like an interesting thing. But it seems incredibly expensive.
Well, it's like just £500 to go on the train there at that time. I mean, my mate said I could stay because the comedians get places.
Yes, they do.
You're right. It's like a cost of flipping.
And then I think there's this new tourist tax, isn't there? There's all it just made it impossible for people to actually enjoy anything.
This is in the FT. Edinburgh Festival wants a bigger bite, a tourism tax. Apparently, they've the first ones to start in Scotland, a tourism tax, 5% levy, but they want a bigger piece of the pie. But I think, comedy now, because of all wokery, has gone downhill. And there's that comedian with the ginger hair who got cancelled about 4 times. What's his name? We had him on the show. I kept trying to... Andrew... what's his... Well, anyway, the ginger comedian, I will find out his name at some point. But he got cancelled everywhere. But now he's actually booking out big theatres because people don't want to go to comedy now because they've promoted such crap comedians who haven't got the lineage behind them. They're not funny. You remember people... I remember in Friday nights, probably, people were clapping rather than laughing.
That's the big clue.
Virtue laughing, I call it. It's not really laughter. But now it's become so bad for these theatres, they're booking cancelled comedians because these guys are selling out.
Yeah. Everybody wants to go
Andrew
and watch.
Lawrence.
And that's it.
He's brilliant, he is. We'll get him on at some point.
Everybody always wants to watch the thing that you shouldn't laugh at. That's the thing that that won't ever understood. But there's that old saying that it's to start a revolution, you kill all the lawyers. What woke did is it killed all the jesters because comedy was the first target because it builds bridges between communities. If you all laugh at the same thing, everyone, the mother-in-law jokes, everyone's got a bad colleague at work. You make it relatable. If people become relatable, woke doesn't work because it breaks down oppressor and oppressed. So this is why they went after comedy. In terms of how woke did this. Very impressive, but very bad for society because if you go all the way back to medieval times, the jester was the most powerful person in the kingdom because he was the only person allowed to take the mickey out of the king. That's why they were so powerful. That's why comedians.
The king did execute him one day if he was in a bad mood.
Yeah, I mean, you did have to kind of judge the mood. You did have to judge, read the crowd, as they say. But that's why they went after woke and so successfully. And it's like you said, everybody just uses it as therapy. I don't want to listen to somebody's therapy session.
No. Do you remember the Les Dawson joke? He said, I was with my wife and her mother-in-law the other day, and 4 skinheads started beating up the mother-in-law, and my wife said, aren't you going to help? And I said, no, 4 should be enough. He's brilliant. You can't have stuff like that, but it's funny, isn't it? It's not...
But the thing is, every kind of community can relate to an overpowering mother-in-law. That's the point.
A lot of blokes love their mother-in-law. My dad loved his mother-in-law. They really get on with them. Some don't, obviously.
Yeah, but again, it's that it builds bridges between rich and poor. Straight, gay, all these kind of different things all come together to laugh at one thing. If you realise you've got one thing in common, the rest of woke disappears.
And it's involuntary laughter, isn't it? And the woke are scared of laughing at a thing they shouldn't be laughing at.
Yeah, it's always when people get annoyed and then laugh. I was like, you're not allowed to do it like that.
Nigella's skincare secrets. Actually, I remember a story about her because talking about Prince Harry and his visa, I remember she had a problem because she'd written in a book some cocaine thing and she had a problem getting in America, but she, you can get a lawyer and go to a court if you got a few quid. I think it cost her 10 grand at the time, and she was fine with it. But so he can do that. But then if he's lied on the visa form, that's a federal offence, and that will be a different matter, and you can get 5 years in prison for it, and you're banned from America like his uncle.
I think it's the Heritage Foundation, isn't it, that were the ones that started to dig into this, if I remember rightly.
Yes, because they want to make sure that they're all about American heritage and keeping the visas correct and making sure standards are good, and backing up the royal family as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, this was always one of those things I never thought would have the legs to go anywhere, but it's not gone away, this story for Prince Harry. He's never really got over or around it.
No.
And again, it seems to be...
And Joe Biden wasn't going to do anything but Trump. But remember, Trump said, he's got enough problems on his plate being married to that woman.
Yeah, I mean, that was funny. He said the same
He is
thing.
funny, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's politically incorrect, but he's uncancelable, that's the thing.
Oh, yeah. I think
they
you
tried
can
to shoot his ear off, didn't
but
they?
I find it... He said the same thing about Israel and Greta Thunberg. He says, haven't they been through enough?
Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah. London's mansion flat mania. Apparently everyone's buying... I mean, the property market's crashed. I mean, not crashed, but no one's been able to sell anything.
Yes. This is part of the problem. If you're stuck next to a HMO, you're pretty much done for. It's also one of the reasons that renters are in a lot of trouble because landlords are trying to sell everything. So, therefore, there's no rental accommodation.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're not selling anything.
Yeah.
Because people aren't buying because they're going, well, in a year, I'll be able to pick up something for less, so they're not buying now, and interest rates are high, so...
People can't access the funds to actually buy a house as well.
But on the other, like our mate George Gilbert, who comes in, he's just bought a flat, so, you know, and he's only 20-odd, and now people can afford flats. They've become to an actual viable level to buy, so, yeah.
Yeah, it's in the property market's always really important because our economy is linked to the property market.
Yeah, and people feel good with their houses, aren't they?
I mean, it put Thatcher in power for 2 successive general elections.
She brought up working class, let them buy their houses, and they still have a go at her.
Yeah.
People that didn't know what she was like. And the Soaraway Sun, Meghan Ritchie, crime romp, gentleman role for Royal. The Duchess of Sussex is in advanced talks for a major role in Guy Ritchie's hit Netflix gangster comedy. The Gentleman, I mean, I think they'll be able to get her cheap because she's gagging for it, isn't she? Show, but
yeah.
I mean, she'll be. I suppose it will be sort of interest.
Yeah, it's interesting though that show. I think it's a Netflix one, if I remember rightly. And didn't she have a big falling out with the head of Netflix?
Yeah, but they've signed a golden handcuff deal. I think they were waiting for a, maybe a spill the bean. But that's another reason. Why would they ever want to talk with Meghan? Because they know it's going to come out in a year or 2 or 5 years.
This is the big thing: is that Prince William has already said they want nothing to do with them.
No.
He's already said that.
But that's why you might be right what you said, because they are having a meeting, but it will be a serious meeting, and there won't be any frivolous talk.
The Sussex Summit, which I thought was quite funny.
But yeah, I heard Sandringham, they wouldn't want to go, William and...
Well, to be honest...
You can't blame them. I mean, Catherine was very ill, and what they did was horrendous.
It was horrendous.
And they can't trust them. You know they're going to say what's happening.
Oh, yeah. This is the thing. William will never be in the room with Harry on his own, because he can't trust that Harry's not recording it.
No, and Camilla's always in the room, making sure she's a witness.
Yes.
I would have thought they'd have to take it.
Interestingly, the way that she's been able, Queen Camilla, to change her image in the national light is very impressive.
It is. Although she never really did anything bad. That was. I mean, it wasn't like Meghan. It was because of what happened with the thing. So, and I always thought she was all right. I mean, it wasn't her
I think
fault,
she was for a while.
Maybe Charles was a bit of a... He should have stood up because they told him to marry Diana, and it was a horrible situation.
The way that I have to admit, because I remember for a long time she was persona non grata. Everybody despised that woman.
I thought she was.
And now, like, she's actually...
They like her now. She's really turned it around. She's a nice woman, isn't she? Helps a lot of people. Anyway, Pete, that is it. You're going to be on tomorrow morning, aren't you?
Yeah, back here at 10 o'clock with Alex.
With Alex, and you're going to do What Just Happened I'm Away next week.
I am, yeah.
We're going to have Michelle Polino, Fox News headlines, all about... She's an entertainment reporter in LA, so she's got the lowdown on what's going on. Are Harry and Meghan running away from the authorities? Is it something else? We're going to find out. Join us in 2 minutes after news. Thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk with Ash, and it's all about your calls. So get your calls in now. We'll call you back 03444991000. We've got Mark and Julie and Andrea and James and you too as well. Just give us a ring on that number 03444991000 87222. If you want to text a message, put the word Talk and then your message, and yeah, leave a voice message on WhatsApp on that very number. If you're too scared to come on live. But anyway, before all that, let's talk. We're going to talk about Harry and Meghan with Michelle Pollino, and this is a story we've been talking about. The Duchess of Sussex is in talks to make a return to acting with an appearance in Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman TV series, according to reports. Ginger Nuts and Meghan are to live in a non-royal residence outside of London, having already enrolled Archie and Lilibet into British schools. It was disclosed on Wednesday. She rose to fame as Rachel Zane, the 45-year-old, did, plus VAT, in the US legal drama Suit, and appeared in films such as Horrible Bosses, never heard of it, and Cookie Queen. I don't know if she was in that, but it was about Girl Scouts making biscuits or something, and loads of other films where she basically plays herself in the film. It's believed that Meghan may be joining award-winning director Ritchie for a potential role in its Netflix series The Gentleman, which stars Theo James and Casco Delero and Vinnie Jones, of course. Vinnie Jones, former Wimbledon and Wales player. The action comedy show, which premiered in 2024, is expected to release its second season later this year. Meghan is reported in talks for a role in a possible third season, though the series is yet to be renewed. So let's talk to Michelle Pollino, Fox News Headlines 24/7 entertainment reporter in LA. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, Ash, it's great to meet you. I'm excited to be with you on your program.
Yeah, man, and we've got the same hair, because when I let my hair down, it's exactly like yours. That's brilliant. We're already getting it, we're already clicking. So what's the news, man, over the ocean in America, because you've got the lowdown out there? Are they running away from the authorities? There's a rumour that because of the visa thing and the drug taking and the frozen willy at the... No, that's not illegal, is it? But a lot of the stuff, if he lied on his visa... What are you hearing about all this?
So it's been an interesting week. What we're hearing is, you know, this coming on a Friday. Friday is the news dump day. It's when people drop things in the news that they don't necessarily want to pay a lot of attention.
They do it when there's a big story. They try and bury the bad news on a Friday.
That's right. But this comes just 2 days after they announced they're heading back to the UK. They're keeping their house in Montecito, California, much to the chagrin of neighbors there, according to Page 6, who interviewed a couple of neighbors, and they were happy to see them go because they just caused too much attention. But this is a very interesting story. Friday dump, 2 days after they announced. You got to keep the skepticism at the center. No season 3 renewal. No role identified. It's currently being written, meaning nobody knows how big this actually is.
So this is sort of a spin. This could be like a BS, couldn't it?
Could be.
And they can't afford to keep the house in Montecito. They're skint. They've lost their legal case. You know, they've got to pay the first $9 million today, or with their other people that did this court case. They've, you know, Netflix doesn't like them. They blow money around. Oh, do they actually own that house? I thought they were renting it.
No, they own the property in Montecito, and the fact that they're not selling it, I think this is this could possibly be to juice The Gentleman to get a third season. That could be the deal, the under-the-table deal between those two. I got name recognition. I can bring you some ratings. I can juice you if you just give me a role. That's what it sounds like to me, Ash.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I've watched a bit of The Gentleman. I didn't get through it. I suppose I would watch it again, you know, with Meghan in, just to see. I've never watched any Suits or anything. But doesn't she just play her sort of self in all these films?
Well, this is the other thing about it. It's like Guy Ritchie. She's not a Guy Ritchie gal. She's not a She's
No,
not
you're
a
right.
Guy Ritchie gal.
No, she couldn't
She's
be
not.
like that. She couldn't have the attitude and thing. I mean, she can't even act at being a royal, which she is actually meant to be. You know what I mean? She does that really badly.
Right.
She's lost that role. So, what's your view on the city? What do you think's going on? I mean, the neighbours that don't like them, they should be glad they've gone and not renting or selling the house. It'll be nice and quiet, won't it?
Yeah,
And
no.
do you think they'll come back? I mean, haven't they burnt all their bridges? They're not getting any work out there. They've become toxic. None of the celebrities want to be around there. They're having to get these YouTube influencers as their friends, and even they're letting them down.
Right.
So
That's right.
Is that another reason? There's so many reasons, aren't there?
So yeah, I think you hit up on a couple of points, but I really do think it's a behind the scenes deal. They need some money. They need some cash. She's just like, I bet you I can get on Suits, go, made her agent go and try to figure out a role. They don't have a role for her. This is what's so suspicious about it. And it dropping 2 days after. Their welcome here is worn out. It just has.
Yeah, I mean,
it just has.
Even if they don't get the role, someone would want the name because it will add a lot of, publicity to whatever show it is. So, it would be a film she was in, I suppose, or a TV, Netflix. She's burnt her bridges there, hasn't she? Although they've got
She's burnt her bridges in Netflix.
But they've got a golden handcuffs thing, haven't they, for a future thing? Is that still on? I think they're waiting for maybe a separation, because there could be a big successful thing if she releases her life story, if it all goes pear-shaped. That would be quite a monster.
Yeah. They have deep pockets. They have other ideas. I think they're in a bit of a bind here. I think that's why this happened so quickly that even the king didn't know.
So, there was this, everything she touches turns to, rubble. I mean, this latest thing was Cookie Queen's about Girl Scouts making what we call biscuits, you call cookies. That sort of drop. I mean, I could tell you that wouldn't do very well. And Prince Harry's thing on a pole, I mean, it's hard to think of worse ideas, isn't it?
It is, but they keep coming up with the worst ideas possible.
They've got a talent for that. They have got a talent.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
Nobody is interested in them anymore here. And it's pretty obvious.
Well, not only that, they're toxic. I mean, they were mates. They had Clooney and all this, and Williams.
You don't see them out with them anymore.
Well, it lowers their star if they're seen with them, and that's what's happened to them. And they don't like the way they treated the royal family, do they? As well, the Americans. You love our royal family. You don't like the way he's treated them. And the Queen at the end of her life, and Prince Philip. You're very almost more love the royal family than we do in America.
I would say we do. I would say we do. And I want to give you one more scoop, because I think it's interesting to this is the last time Meghan Markle was really in the news was when she was at Kim Kardashian's party.
That was a while ago, wasn't
it? It was. And she made a big stink about the pictures because she was at this, reality star, turned actress party. And that was the beginning of, I'd say, every really big failure of the Prince Harry, Meghan Markle kind ever since that moment.
Because she wants to be front and centre, and in America you've got some very big stars like Kardashian, and she's just well beneath them. And she was sick of it over here when Kate was taking her limelight, and now she's got influencers taking her limelight. I mean,
so true.
Isn't it just time for them to maybe just go away like Edward and Mrs. Simpson and go and live quietly? I mean, they'll never do that, will they?
They will never do it.
No.
She has such a hunger for the spotlight. It will probably destroy the marriage.
I mean, your loss is also our loss. I think it's Kev that says that, but it can't get any. It's just going to get worse and worse. But the thing about it is, it's quite interesting. Remember Dynasty and Dallas? It's a bit like a real version of that, isn't it? So it's sort of a car crash watching, isn't it?
It is a semi-truck crash watching kind of event.
I mean,
yes.
There's rumours, that we were talking earlier. I think Pete mentioned it, that the king is more ill than we think, and that would make sense with them all. They're all apparently meeting at some sort of summit, the royals, and I don't think William and Kate and Camilla, I don't think they'd be meeting unless it was something really serious. So that could be part of it. Plus, of course, they're saying, oh, you're not going to get security. Our Prime Minister came out and said it's a private matter. But we all know they're going to get security. They're going to get armed police, and they're not going to have to pay for it. We're all going to have to pay for it. And it's sickening. But when William becomes king, I don't know what's going to... It's just...
Wow.
Anyway, look, we got a little bit. Let's hear what Andy Burnham said about that. Press play on the video.
This is a private matter. It's a matter for Harry and for Meghan, and we wish them well in the move that they're making.
Yeah, but at least he could put a shirt and tie on, couldn't he? You know, that's how Prime Minister is meant to be. So, what do you think's going to happen? What's your, you know, you're an entertainment. You've been in the business. You've been an entertainment reporter for a long time with Fox News. What's your view on how what could they do?
Well, I think this was a move, as I said in the beginning, to juice the ratings, to get us a third season, and to for them to make some money. I do think it's a complicated matter. I do think probably the king might be a little ill, and I think there's all those things at play. I do think that everything that we've touched on tonight, let's look out next week for an announcement on if the season is picked up, the third season, because the second season airs September 3rd, I believe. So let's hear if it gets greenlit before the second season
begins. The second season
begins. Then we know there was a deal.
Do you know? You must know Vinnie Jones. Have you met Vinnie Jones?
I do. I worked with him. I worked with him.
You
on
worked
a
with
movie
Vinnie Jones?
Here. I do. I wonder if he'd remember me. I enjoyed him immensely.
Did you? Because he's quite a violent man. Although he's probably calmed down. He used to be obviously a footballer, and he was well known.
You know how he is with the ladies, but you know how he is. My hair wasn't as grey.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Oh, so yeah. All right, I see. Yeah. So, what was it like? Was he a nice guy? Was he?
Like I said,
he's a good guy.
He's intense.
What did you work with him as? Were you in?
It was I think it was a second assistant director on Tooth and Nail. It was a feature film, horror, kind of one of those. Yeah.
He's got a good career out there, hasn't he? He's done all right for himself.
Doing all right.
Mainly one role again, though, isn't it? He's good at playing an angry, violent man, although he's tried other things.
Comedy doesn't really work for him, but yeah.
So it's an interesting thing. But, I mean, you know, like they fell out with Netflix, didn't they? Had a Netflix, because this is on Netflix, isn't it, this programme? Is it not a Netflix show? I think it is over here in The Gentleman. So,
yeah, I think so.
Won't they have something to say about it? Have they burnt their bridges at Netflix, or I don't know?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. That's not her. That's not Artwell Productions. That's not her company.
It's Guy Ritchie, but they might say no. We're not. You know, they will have a say in the matter, won't they?
Not in a Guy Ritchie jam. Not in the Guy Ritchie jam. And Guy Ritchie has final say.
Right. Okay. So, and they will actually make money. It will be probably good for the show, won't it? Because people will tune in who wouldn't have tuned in before. How long they stay?
That's the way things are done.
Yeah, that's how it's always been done. Is there any precedent? Has anyone else done this and suddenly reinvented themselves? Not really, because there hasn't been actresses, hasn't there? She's sort of an actress that's become a royal, so it's a...
Well, yes, she was an actress. Suits was a great... It's a great show.
Happened the other way around, didn't it? Where oh no, it was the actress who married the Monaco guy. What was her name? You know, in the 50s.
The Windsor.
No, the very
Edward.
No, married the King of Monaco. You know, in the 40s.
From Philadelphia.
No.
Princess Grace.
Princess Grace. Yeah, she was a big star, wasn't she? And
she was from my hometown, Philadelphia, yes.
Yeah, but that's not really Meghan, is it? She was she did Suits, and she did that open in the box thing that we had over here with the Noel Evans.
No, Grace Kelly was huge.
And she had class. That's the thing,
and
Meghan.
Everybody loved her.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody.
She had the class, a bit like Kate has the class, which is what Meghan, she can't stand. You know what I mean? And she never will have that class, will she?
It's very interesting. I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So what
Very
else? Now we've got you, because we've got to go soon. But what else is going on in entertainments in America? What's the latest big thing out there?
The biggest thing was the Markles, and that pretty much took up all of my week.
Yeah.
The other big thing is the Tupac trial. The Tupac trial is huge. Tupac Shakur, the rapper who was killed 30 years ago.
At Vegas, wasn't it? He was killed in
Las Vegas Strip.
the Tyson fight.
That's right, at the Mike Tyson fight. And they finally nabbed a guy, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. Prosecutors say he set up, orchestrated the whole thing, got the gun, gave the person the gun to do it. This was all a revenge for Tupac Shakur's gang kind of dissing his nephew earlier that day in one of the casinos. This guy, he basically released a memoir 2 years earlier. This is his defense. Now, the prosecutors say that Tupac, that's Davis set up the whole thing, and they have it in his own words in his memoir. Now, Davis responded saying, nope, that was a ghostwriter who wrote my memoir. I didn't even read my memoir, and I have alibis. So that's both sides.
Because a lot of them would hire off-duty cops, didn't they, as bodyguards,
that's
like
right.
LAPDs, and it's quite a weird situation.
There's still loyalties on this stand that were amazing to me this week covering this trial.
What, like gang loyalties, you mean? Like?
Just, like one guy was a hostile witness because he didn't want to be called because he was really, he was like, no, I'm not dishing this. No, absolutely not.
It was amazing. I remember in the 80s and in the 90s, and all these rappers were actually gangsters. I remember Snoop was, he was charged.
They were all gangsters.
They're all real. I remember telling my girlfriend, she went, oh, no, it's all just made up. I go, no, they really are killing each other. They are.
No, they are.
And the big guy, what was his name, who got Biggie Smalls?
Biggie Smalls. Oh, my God, I miss Biggie.
Yeah, I mean, a very talented man, and so was Tupac. It was terrible.
Right.
I mean, they were in their mid-20s, weren't they? And they were just...
That's right. And Suge Knight. Suge Knight was in the car.
But he's a dodgy guy. He died, didn't he? He's a dodgy guy. He ran someone over and stuff. I mean,
that was crazy.
Proper gangster. I remember the Run DMC guy got shot in his studio.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah. I saw them once, the Birmingham Odeon back in the 80s.
Oh, Run DMC?
Yeah, they were getting out of their limo with all their chains and their Adidas.
Yeah, I love it. Mr. T started that chain thing, believe it or not.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Jam Master Jay, that was it. That was who was killed. Yeah,
Jam Master
is Mr.
Jay.
T still around? He stopped wearing the gold, hasn't he? He found it. He said, "Oh no, I'm not going to wear my gold anymore."
That's right.
He probably had to sell
around.
it.
They're doing Yeah, he did. They did. They're doing a documentary series on Untold on Ray Gunn and Mr. T. And
he's a fascinating man. He was a wrestler. He was in Rocky III, and he's got a very, very interesting life. Mr.
I was
T.
on the set of that movie when I was a
Rocky III?
Yes. I was one of the extras.
Oh my God, we keep finding out. Think you were an extra on Rocky III. What, in the crowd?
I was in the crowd in front of the art museum when Mr. T comes down.
Wow.
And he's like, yeah, it was great.
Wow, will you come on again? We've got so many stories we've got to get out of you that we find out. Will you come on again, Michelle?
Anytime, Ash. I appreciate you. Thanks,
Michelle.
for the opportunity.
That's brilliant. Yeah. That's Michelle Polino, Fox News, headlines 24/7, entertainment reporter. Next, we're going to go up north to Edinburgh and hopefully speak. We're also going to take your calls on Mark, Julie, Andrea, Graham, the British Bob Dylan, Troubadour, Grace, Paula, James, and you too, if you want, 03444991000. Next, we're going to go up to the Edinburgh Festival and speak to my mate, award-winning comedian. He's done 3 shows today. He does a kids show. He did one at 9 to 10 and then one from, I don't know, he's crazy busy. And we'll be back to talk about Edinburgh and his gigs and what the atmosphere is like up there after this.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk with me, Ash. And, yeah, we're just going to go through your calls now. Give us a ring, though, because we've got Grace, Andrew, Julia, Mark, Paula, James and Graham. Oh, we got a text here from Sammy. Says, hey, Ash, the Duchess was the name. Reggie or Ronnie Craig, can't remember which called his mum, wasn't it? Yeah, I think they did call, they both called their mum the Duchess. The smell of... Oh, this is interesting, because it rained last week, and I was with my mate Adam, who produces the show. We were walking across London Bridge, like 2 in the morning, and the rain come down, and there was this, like, pleasant sort of almost cut grass-type smell. There's no grass around there, not normal grass. Anyway, apparently Nicholas said the smell after rain is petrichor. Bacteria is released in little puffs. Nikki in Slough. Right, largest data centre in Europe, Slough. So it was like little bacteria released in little puffs. I don't know, what is it when it hits the ground in the puffs of the... Or are they in the drops? I don't know. We'll find out. Text us where these puffs come from. But anyway, let's go to Grace and Ealing. Grace, morning, Grace.
Morning. It still feels weird saying it's morning when it's dark outside.
I know. Yeah.
I hope you're well, however you are. I think that it's frustrating to me that Meghan seems, and this is going to sound very judgmental of me, but she seems to be more concerned with promoting herself than with some of the causes that I'd really hoped she was going to promote.
Well, she is. You don't fall for that stuff, do you? Of course she's all about herself.
Well, I try not to be too cynical and negative about people, but...
That's your problem, Grace.
I was very excited when she initially came on the scene nearly a decade ago, because she had been an advocate for some of the charities that work with the world's poorest people, for whom each pound can make far more impact than it can here. And so I was thinking, it's really exciting that someone's going to be raising awareness of these causes and you know, children who are literally starving and don't have the basics. She'd been with one of these charities, so I thought maybe she'll help make people aware of the good that we can do. Well, this was when she first came on the scene.
They all try and pretend to be Princess Diana, don't they? Especially her. She's like got a bit funny like that. She just wears the same clothes and everything, but she's never going to be Diana.
I mean, I was only 5 when Princess Diana died, so I didn't know all that much about her.
There's no need to brag. I was doing this show. That's how I was already old back then.
Well, good for you. I wasn't trying to brag. My point was simply that I didn't know enough about Princess Diana, but what I have seen of her suggests that she kind of did care, and I'm not quite so sure that Meghan does.
I don't know if Diana did. I mean, a lot of it has been sort of rewritten after, but I remember at the time people say she uses the press, and they all used the press, didn't they? I mean, she was horribly dealt with, and obviously Martin Bashir connived his way to losing her security, well, getting rid of her security, which ultimately led to her death. So, I mean, you know, I don't know, but they all do. I mean, I tell you who, I was talking to someone about Dolly Parton yesterday, and she is genuinely she buys a book for every child in her area and stuff like that. She grew up in poverty and, you know, she genuinely cares. But a lot of these people, charity is just the way to get ahead. You know, you have to do it, don't you? You've got to be more suspicious, Grace. I bet you give to all the charity things that come round and the little boxes, and I bet you're always doing that.
I can't because I don't have enough of an income. I give to the causes that I know can make the most impact. Yeah,
there are good causes. I always look at the CEOs, and sometimes the CEOs are on, you know, £250,000 and I think, well, that's not charity, man. That's a lot of that money just goes for people's wages. You know, they have 10 people earning over 150 grand. You know, get some old businessmen who are already wealthy and business women who've made a few quid and who will devote and do it, you know, properly. But they go, oh, no, we've got to organise it like a business. And they just become businesses, don't they?
Well, if you can find some accomplished business people who'd be happy to do charity work for nothing, then that would be fantastic.
I don't really know.
I would agree with you that CEOs should not be paid so much. But separately, on the note of Harry and Meghan, I do think that reconciliation is a good thing, if that's what's going to happen.
Well, if King Charles is very ill, you know, obviously that would be nice, and he wants to see his grandkids.
Yeah, I was interested by how Samara Gill pronounces prodigal differently as an Australian. She was talking about the prodigal son.
The prodigal son? Yeah, they do. They say funny words, don't they? Yeah.
But obviously the story of the prodigal son is kind of an allegory about how God offers us reconciliation if we're repentant. And I just hope that Harry can be kind of a bit contrite and apologise to Prince Charles, because I think that family reconciliation is a really great thing.
Well, I mean, I hope so, Grace. I don't know, though, with him. But, yeah, that would be nice if he did sort of apologise. But I just can't see him doing that. But thanks for your call, Grace. Let's go to Paula in Halifax. Hey, up, Paula.
Hiya, Ash.
You all right? Morning.
Yeah, talking again for the third time in the week.
Yeah. So what's up,
Right.
then?
I know Guy Ritchie.
Do you know Guy Ritchie?
No.
Oh, you mean you just know him like we know, we know who he is, right? I thought you were saying you knew him. Right, okay.
Well, I do really, but I've never met him, but I know of him.
You don't know him. Yeah, you know of him like everyone knows of Guy Ritchie, yeah.
It's Madonna's ex-husband.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, well, we knew that, yeah.
I'm a massive Madonna fan. Now, why would he want her in a film when A, she's not an actress, B,
she is.
Money grabbing.
Well, yeah. But it's going to be good for the film, isn't it? You're going to watch it now, aren't you, if she's in it? You know, we'll bring bums on seats, won't it, for a short time anyway?
I won't watch it because it's not Madonna.
TV series, isn't it? TV. You'll be there, Paula. You'll be there with your popcorn.
No, I will not.
Or your, what would you have, those?
I can't bloody stand it.
Werther's Originals.
I'll tell you something else. That day when Piers Morgan walked out of GMTV...
Oh, yeah, it's funny that, wasn't it?
When he said what he said...
I've pulled my thing. No, oh, no, I am. With bated ears.
When
yeah. Piers Morgan walked out of the thing because he...
Out, yeah, and it were all about Meghan Markle and her wanting to kill herself or whatever she was chirping on about.
And that, yeah, and she didn't believe it.
And their whole family were questioning the colour of the child and all that.
Well, they weren't questioning it. They were speculating like anyone would. And how dare they go, oh, that's racist, ridiculous.
I agree. Yeah. I just said, hey, what if it's, you know, but I think it's a normal thing to say.
Yeah, it's not they try and fix everything so it makes it. It's a horrible sort of victim thing they've played, isn't it? Do you remember when they left? They went, it's our freedom flight, we're leaving, and now they're coming back with their tails between their legs.
But, you know, I've always, because I loved Princess Diana. I absolutely adored her. Yeah, I did.
Because a lot of people forget they didn't. There was a bit when they didn't, and then they did again.
No, I absolutely adored her.
People fell out of love with her, and they were very rude about her, and I remember it. I was there. But then I remember the ridiculousness of everyone going a bit mad when she was... you know, I was doing the talk show, and people were calling in, and it was a bit weird. Like, you could see how the public can get whipped up into this... Like, they knew her. Like, it was like a celebrity that, you know, it's all very sad, but we didn't know her.
I know, it was crazy, really, wasn't it?
It was a bit worrying. Anyway, thanks, Paula. That was great. We're going to take a little breaky. Give us a ring, 0344 499 1000. Mark, Julie, Andrea, Graham, James, and you too. Not the band with Bonio. I mean, you too. Or give us a WhatsApp message on 0344 499 1000. It's Gould Knows on Talk at Virtual Ash, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
It's 0344 499 1000. Benedict Fletcher will be on after us as Talk Sport and Talk TV become as one in unity. It's not just sport, though. It'll be everything else. And What Just Happened will be out, and The Grumpy Old Men is coming out. But What Just Happened was on today, and it will be on YouTube in the morning. That's me, Kev, and Samara. Kev hosting it, so that'll be good. But it's all about your calls now, Mark in Lincolnshire.
Hi there, Ash, mate.
All right, man. What's up, man?
Dude. I was listening with interest with your tech guy earlier.
It was good. We've retweeted, I think, at Virtual Ash, if you want to see him, or at Talk TV. Yeah, Will Guyatt, brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was really good. Just when he was talking about GTA 6 and all that.
Grand Theft Auto 6, the biggest ever sort of media thing coming out, because now video games are the biggest, bigger than movies, and it's Scotch from Dundee. Very proud.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got a massive history in this country of video game.
Yeah, because all the kids in the 80s, I mean, you sound similar age to me. We were all, I was no good at it. My brother, Johnny Gould, he was good at it, but he should have stuck with it. We could have been rich now. Well, he could have been.
That's it. I wish I'd learned programming at that age. I learned
Our computer teacher used to stay on the BBC computer playing that game Elite, and we didn't learn anything. And they said, I remember in the textbook, it said in 10 years, they said in 10 years everyone's going to work at home, but it didn't. Now they are, but for other reasons.
Well, exactly, yeah. I mean, God, I remember back in the 70s and that, I think the first thing I really started playing on was probably Pong. Back on the older time.
Yeah, the Pong with the little tennis bats, and then you got sort of bootleg versions with that sort of wooden plasticky thing, and then Atari came out, and then there was sort of the there was the PET computers. I remember my Uncle Lenny had that. It was quite a big sort of thing, and had sort of Scrambler, and then you had the VIC-20, and then you had the Commodore 64 and the BBC, and the Spectrum was the thing that really sort of, because it was cheap, wasn't it?
The Specky was the best one, but I was the funny story I wanted to mention, actually, was before the Spectrum, Sinclair had another computer, which was the ZX81.
The ZX81 and the ZX80, the white one. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
1K, I think, the ZX81.
Yeah, the ZX81 was 1K, but this is the funny story. Because they came out with a 16 kilobyte RAM pack that you put on the back.
That's right, yeah.
Well, this thing was absolutely crap. It was so loose. It was always so loose.
Yeah.
Now, my dad got me into computing and stuff. Like, say, when I was a wee nipper back in the late 70s and into the 80s.
Yeah.
And he used to get the magazines, and they used to have program listings.
Yeah, you have to put every little thing, and if one thing was wrong, it didn't work.
Yeah, well, this is it. Well, I remember back in the day when we'd go to bed, and he'd sit up and he would be typing all these programs into the bloody computer in the ZX81 with a 16K RAM pack that was always a bit dodgy.
Oh,
and I remember one night I came downstairs because I couldn't sleep. I come downstairs and all I did was open the living room door.
And that knocked it out, and he lost all his stuff.
16K RAM pack fell off the back.
And he lost all that program because you couldn't store it anywhere.
Yeah, he lost about 2 hours of typing.
Because they never had storage, these computers, did they? You had to load everything up. They didn't have an operating system in the old days. Do you remember the printer, which was this small thing with silver paper that something would burn it onto it, and that was the printer?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
But it was beautiful times, wasn't it? It was simple games, but it was really exciting, even if it was just, it was like amazing and it was simple, and now you look at it and go, but it was like really incredible when you were a kid and thinking, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that you used to play, I mean, they look like, if you showed a kid them these days, they wouldn't know what they were showing.
And the keyboard on the Spectrum, it was just sort of, there was no key, it was just pushed the sort of plastic a bit. It had a little thing under the plastic. Yeah.
Oh, man, honestly, those are the days, man.
So anyway, you didn't call in to talk about that. You were talking about Epping and something going on in that happened over Epping.
No, I was calling in about GTA and stuff.
Oh, did you? You just said that to get on. But so do you remember the first Grand Theft Auto, which was from above and it was quite basic, but it was great fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember it. It was actually quite a good game.
It was. And they've just got better and better. I mean, are you looking forward to this GTA 6?
Well, I've pre-ordered it, so
There you are.
I suppose I am.
But aren't you? So you're about 50-ish, right? Like when I got to about. How old are you?
52. Well, my birthday was yesterday today, you know what I mean?
Don't you lose? I sort of lost the video game thing about. I just, you know, I used to love them all, and then you just sort of get to an age and you go. I mean, I would like to see this Grand Theft Auto 6 because that's amazing.
I mean, I mean, I think to be honest with you, I mean, I know what you're saying. A lot of my mates kind of stopped really gaming.
It's funny, isn't it? Your brain loses something in it that you're not excited by stuff anymore.
I just never have, mate. I just never have. I've always gamed. I've owned everything. Yeah. You know, like I say.
Is that down to your dad? Do you think you know he got you into it?
Yeah, because he got me into it, and my entire childhood was just, you know, either playing football or being on a computer. Or
that was the thing, wasn't it? Because we still went out and played things because, you know, you could only spend an hour or two on it and then you'd go out and play with your mates. Now the kids are just on their computers all the time. It's a really bad situation. Have you ended up working in computers or anything like that? Or what sort of work do you do?
Yeah, kind of. I did my degree in business and finance, but part of that was computing. So I did some programming stuff. I've done some web-related stuff in the past.
Oh, so it really did get you into it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, flipping heck. I mean, I remember back at junior school, my dad used to run like on a Friday night when you finished school on a Friday.
Yeah.
You finished about half hour extra early if you were in a club. And well, my dad started a computer club.
Oh, wow.
At the school, and you used to, all they had at the school was like a few of these BBC ones, which were pretty crap, to be honest.
Well, the BBC Model B was amazing, wasn't it, at the time?
It was a great computer, but kids weren't really interested.
No, it was very expensive. It was like 300 quid back then, or 400 quid, and, you know, it was quite a serious machine. I think the ARM chip, which is now in all our phones and everything, came from that. It was Acorn, wasn't it? And Clive Sinclair and all Cambridge, it was all, these were all developed.
So much came out of Cambridge.
And still does.
Yeah, he used to take our computer in. He used to take our computer into the computer club, and all the kids would just be on it. And
yeah, it was amazing. At my school, even in the sort of early 80s, in fact, in the late 70s, I wasn't in this. They had the internet before it was the internet. It was this machine called the mainframe, and it linked up with all universities in America. And I didn't quite understand it, but it had keyboard and had a printout, and you could talk to people around the world. I don't know what it really did, but it was the internet before the internet. And I did business information technology at Manchester Poly, as it was at the time. And I remember in 1992 they said, what are the future things that is going to happen that's going to invigorate business and everything. And even then, the internet, the web wasn't really a thing. They were going, oh well, there will be modems that can in real time tell you what it's in your factory in around the world and get real time. But there was no mention. Internet wasn't even in 1992 even thought of. And I remember at the original Talk Radio in Oxford Street, I was walking in the computer. It must have been about 96-ish. And this guy, we had one internet terminal at Talk. And I saw this guy, Kev the Wonder Sheep, if you remember, from the overnight show. And he was on this thing, said Google. I said, what's that? And he went, it's a search engine. And I went, oh, right. And that's when I literally remember the first Google. But the internet before that, I remember I went round my mates in, he had this Apple computer, and he said, oh, look, I've got the internet. It was about 94. Oh, I went, oh, great, what does it do? And he goes, well, look at this. And he just go to a guy in Manhattan, hello, and then he'd write back, hello, and that was it. And you never thought, you think now, why didn't we realise this is how business is going to work and you pay? You couldn't really see it. You have to be of that.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, I remember on the internet, 94, 95, I think was when I first used the internet. That was at home when I was at uni.
It was all these groups, wasn't it?
When I was at uni, it was absolutely fantastic. But I remember back in the day, lots of people thought I was a right weirdo because I met my wife on the internet.
Oh, that was unusual back in those days, wasn't it?
That was very unusual back then, back in 98 or so, 98, 99, something like that. Wasn't very common at all. I must admit, when I first, the first meeting, I was crapping myself a bit, I should admit. But you just never know. I know. Obviously, even then, I was aware that the internet's the internet. You know what I mean?
But you could have come up with dating sites. If If only you'd have thought I met me missus on here, and you could have been the new, you know what I mean? You could have. Do you ever regret that and think, oh, I could have? Why didn't I think of that? You know, there's so many openings with the .com boom. Did you ever think I could have done this or that? Do you ever regret things?
Absolutely. You know, I think anybody that's been doing computing, like somebody like myself or whatever, you're always going to do that. You're going to think, oh, why didn't I think of that?
Well, I remember I used to see a mate about, I don't know, 15 or maybe 12 years ago after the show, so I popped round, and he'd go on about Bitcoin. It was like $200 a coin, and he'd go, well, you got to buy Bitcoin, you got to buy Bitcoin. And I was like, I don't understand it, and I wish I'd listened to him, because they went up to 100 grand, and now they're like 50, and, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done very well. I hardly ever see him now. I don't know, he lives all over the world, you know, with his Bitcoins. But, you know, I couldn't get my head round it. But he tells me it's going to go up 4 times again soon because of, you know, they're going to make it it's going to go into the American proper system, the digital currency. And but anyway, I don't want to make 4 times. I want to make 100 times like I would have back then, 4 times. I can't be, you know, it's no good. So you're in computers now, are you, Mark?
Sorry?
You're in computers now. Is that what you work in, the web design stuff?
Well, I don't anymore. I became sick, so I'm housebound now. And
all right. Sorry. Well, that's another good thing with computers, isn't it? You can stay at home and be.
I was doing it up until fairly recently.
Yeah.
And then it just got to a point where I just couldn't really commit time-wise.
No. But the benefits for people who are housebound are, you know, amazing, aren't they, really, with it? So, you know, that's all good. Anyway, Mark, we've got to go and take a little breaky, but after the break, we're going to whip through the calls. We've got Georgina, James, Kevin, Andrea, Robert, and possibly the British Bob Dylan, the talk troubadour, Graham. Back after this. Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk. Yeah, it's Talk. We're going to talk to Benedict Fletcher. It's not his real name, it's Ben Fletcher, but it gives him, I think it gives a bit more, you know, gravitas and show business. So Benedict Fletcher in a minute, coming in to tell us what's going on through the night on TalkSport and talkTV as we become as one. But let's go to Georgina in London. All right, Georgina.
Well, good morning, Ash.
Morning.
I am going to have a little bit of a rant. I haven't had one for a while, but...
You always have a rant. Oh, you mean a proper rant? Good.
A proper rant.
How away you go then, Georgie? You start her up and away she goes.
Okay, well, I want to rant about the matter of this booklet that's being distributed to illegal migrants who are unlawfully entering our country, explaining to them that the rape of and molestation of our men, including grandfathers, women, including grandmothers, children of all ages, and even livestock, is against the law in our country. I mean, surely to God, Ash, the fact that this booklet, having to explain what we see as blatantly obvious, is being distributed to these men, and that's telling you loud and clear that these individuals are not compatible.
But it's also saying that the government knew. They've been denying it and going, what are you talking about? This happens here. Well, white people do it and British people do it. So what? And now they've sort of surreptitiously done it. But the thing is, right, you remember when the Yorkshire Ripple was around, they said, don't go out, women, girls, on your own. Why aren't they doing that? Because that would be admitting it even worse, wouldn't it? That would be... It's disgusting what's happening. They're sacrificing people for their own ridiculous ideology and weakness.
They've shown it now by doing this, by putting this booklet out. They are showing that we were right all along, and they've called us racist, bigots and Nazis for stating the obvious. I mean, this document also informs these people how to work the system so that they can remain in our country. I mean, who is this?
I was showing it if you're watching the telly. I'm like, carry on, Georgina, I'm just showing them.
Well, who is this government working for, that? Because it isn't our people and our country. You know, this entire government have abandoned the first rule of government, and in doing this...
Protecting the borders and policing and protecting the public within the borders.
Yeah, well, hang on a minute.
That's their two main jobs.
Andy Burnham gave a pathetic speech saying that he's getting on top of the illegal migration situation, he's stopping the boats, and he also stated that any migrant committing crime in our country would be deported. Well, excuse me, Mr.
Most
Burnham.
don't,
Yeah, but as soon as these illegal migrants step foot on British terra firma, they are in fact committing a crime. And according to Andy Burnham, now they should warrant deportation.
Here it is. You are in the United Kingdom because you are seeking asylum. We understand that coming to a new country can be difficult and that laws and customs here may be different from your own country. There are laws to protect every people in the UK. What is expected of you? Everyone in the UK is expected to treat men and women equally, even if you're a family member like a husband, father or brother. Even them you have to treat equally. You mustn't stop a woman from working or studying, control what a woman wears or where she goes, stop a woman from seeing friends or family, make decisions for a woman. Do you think they're going to read this and go, all right, then I won't do that? Because, of course, most of them will go, well, I don't care what you think. I'm just going to carry on. They know this is what's going on. You know, don't have sex with children. Don't beat your wife up.
And, Ash, they are having sex with sheep and horses. Do me a favour. Where do we draw the line in this country? Because we can't carry on like this. Yeah. These people are from a third world ideology. This cultural cohesion experiment that the government have been putting on us, and that's what it is, an experiment, is blatantly not working, and we cannot carry on living side by side with these people. It is dangerous.
It says domestic abuse includes physical violence, hitting, pushing, kicking. You're not allowed to do that, apparently. Threats, saying you will hurt someone, making them afraid, controlling behaviour. Sex and consent, both people must say yes freely, without threat or pressure. Someone can change their mind at any time. If someone is asleep or drunk or unable to respond, they cannot consent. Unlike that poor drunk guy the other day who was raped in a graveyard.
Yeah, that was an elderly gentleman. That was a
he was an old man. There was a woman in her 50s in Bournemouth. I mean, what's going on in Bournemouth, man? This is unbelievable. This is one of the highlights of the British seaside. And the 19-year-old, I mean, it's going on all the time. They've got 3 migrant hotels there. You do the math.
You know, well, we cannot go to the seaside anymore. These people...
I don't like to be beside the seaside, is the new, if it be the new song.
Well, you're so right, Ash, but you know what? The feeling of the British people now is visceral. We are sick of our children being molested and raped. We're sick of our women being raped, and we're sick of our men being raped. This is not how life should be. We are supposed to be a civilized society, OK? There's nothing civilized about what's going on, and this government must be walking around with their bloody eyes closed because they can't see the wood for the trees, and it's us who's paying the price. This has got to stop, Ash.
Yeah, I mean, I heard Kev talking earlier, and Kev's dad was a legendary Folkestone sort of customs officer, and he had a guest on earlier who said, oh, I remember your dad, he was a legend, and this guest said that after 1971, even with all these, you know, I think it came from the UN or whatever, the Human Rights Act. What used to happen is they used to come in illegally, they would lock them up immediately and fly them out. That was it. There was no asylum stuff and all this, and that's how it was dealt with. And we still could do, we have the laws to be able to do that. You can actually ignore the ECHR on grounds of national security, and I think people being raped, murdered is national security. Plus, obviously, they're drowning in the sea, and so they've got blood on their hands. So if you block it, and it can be blocked like it is from Belgium, so you can't say it's impossible to do. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous, man.
Well, absolutely. The French are actually helping these people come over in these boats. You know, our government has actually flew them into Stansted. I mean, come on. Are we stupid? I don't think we are. We're seeing exactly what's happening now. You know, while these people are coming in here, they're having the gym lessons, they're getting fit.
Oh, yeah, they're getting all the dentists. We can't get dentists. Yeah. Thanks, Georgina. Francis in London. Ben's going to come in a minute, tell us what's going on. But, Francis, you're probably going to be the last one tonight before Ben. Probably. What's going on, Francis?
I mean, it's rather ridiculous. I mean, hearing this woman spewing out so much garbage. If she wants to talk about people meddling with young children and abusing women, she should start off by calling out the President of America, who, I mean, harbors, I mean, the Epstein files, which, I mean, let's be realistic now.
What are you on about? He's not affecting our children or women or people aren't scared to go out. And what was you, President Trump? What are you on about?
The rock starts at the top, okay? If you want to, I mean...
This was before Trump, this was happening. This doesn't happen because of Trump. I mean, what are you talking about, Francis? You got Trump derangement syndrome.
You sound uneducated.
No, I went to university.
Rather uneducated. You are a rather simpleton and an absolute, a complete pleb. Unfortunately, you're an absolute and a complete pleb.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, you are. Unfortunately, you know, allowing people to spew out.
Well, like you.
That's nonsense.
Like you spewing out all your crap. Thanks, Francis. Ben, sorry about that, Ben. You're not used to this sort of stuff unless it's about football.
Oh, no, I am. Absolutely. I've seen the forums.
You get that at home, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Thanks, Francis. Yeah, that was a lovely call to end the weekend. But uneducated, moi. No, he's right, actually.
You've got a doctorate, haven't you?
Yeah, I am, yeah. But I paid for it.
Chemistry?
Yeah, some sort of chemistry, yeah. Anyway, so what's up, man? What's going on your amazing show, Bubba?
The Premier League is back.
I know. What happened today? Who won today? It was...
Arsenal beat Coventry, as you'd expect.
Coventry are back.
For the Gunners, yeah, against Cov.
And it's good to see them back, though, isn't it?
It is.
They won't be there long, but it's nice to see them.
Yeah, see, I disagree. I think they're going to be OK this season. Of the three teams that came up, Coventry, Hull, Ipswich, I think Cov will do the best. Frank Lampard as manager.
And they've got a pedigree. They've got a history in the Premier.
Well, that's the thing. And there's something delightfully 90s about Coventry being in the Premier League.
Yeah, I know. I used to work with Bobby Gould, of course. Great Bobby Gould. I'll get you, Goldstein. 11 o'clock, flapjack. But so who you got on the show, man?
We have got Tom Clayton, who you will know, Leeds fan, looking ahead to Leeds Forest later on, the Brian Clough derby. And can you believe there's a generation of people now who don't really know who he is?
You don't know Brian Clough, the best England manager we never had. And he was a bit like the Margaret Thatcher of football, I always think.
He was.
Similar, cut from the same cloth.
He was indeed.
Have we got any non-sports?
We've got the Guess the Intro quiz, the 1 second wonder. That's about 2:15. You versus one other listener. We're giving away a book you don't want, signed by someone you've never heard of.
Fantastic.
And also Carry On Aging, which is a
new Carry On film?
No. Hey, that would be nice, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be the same, though, would it?
No. Do you remember they made that modern one, didn't they? I think
Carry On Columbus, was it?
Stuff. Yeah, no, it doesn't work.
92.
It's got to be off the time, you know, Kenneth Williams, Charles Hawtrey, Sid James. What else sports? Is it just football, really?
It is 99.9% return of the Premier League. Bit of the cricket, good win for England today over Pakistan. Joe Root back as captain. Decent start for him in his second tenure as skipper. But as I say, Carry On Aging is the Guess the Age quiz. So you versus two other listeners, if you want to dab your hand at trying to win a book that we liberated from the TalkSport office, give us a call, 03717 223344.
Right, OK, so, so what about Villa? Because all the security guards going, what's going on in Villa? You're selling all your players. And I'm sort of going around, well, Dick Emery's got a plan, don't you worry. But what is the plan? What's going on at Villa selling all our players?
Well, you tell me. I mean, presumably they've got to be replaced, right? We will be chatting tomorrow night to an author who's just written a book about Villa, The Rise and Rise, Matt Mayer. Is joining us. And they've just written a book about how Villa went from the brink back in sort of 2008, 2009, down to the Championship in the mid-10s and back again.
Yeah. Well, what's his name left? The former Irish manager?
Martin O'Neill.
Yeah, he just left, didn't he? Flounced off, didn't he? And that happened a lot. But I think Emery's going to stay, isn't he? It's looking good, and we've got Champions League next year. So, see, we can do sport better than talk sports. Don't worry about that.
Well, you are formerly of the parish, aren't you? But away Brighton on Sunday.
I launched talk sport with this finger. Or it was this one, I can't remember.
I can't remember if you and I have spoken about this before, but whenever ITV or other news channels are available, we used to come and film around at our former spiritual home at Hatfield. My hand would be on the 10 o'clock news. Not for that reason, on the faders. So you'd watch
He's got beautiful hands, actually, there.